Hello, hello. Hey, Kevin, good morning. Hope you have a very auspicious day. After a lot of games I worked at last week, Adam has settled on some new features for Skeleseller that he'll be coding. Well, he'll continue coding today. There's no way we're gonna finish this. Hey, Dreamer, welcome in. That he'll continue coding today. Treasure, chests, and keys. Yeah, this work will probably take a couple of weeks. I'll just say 1 to 2 weeks. All right, let's put this in. So there's a lot of little things I want to talk about and do. One of them is tenant stuff. This is how we start every Monday. So I already wrote out my little template here. In fact, I could be doing this every week. Okay, so sustainability. How was last week? I said I'd take the 4th off, but I ended up doing all of my marketing stuff on that morning. I guess I got a normal weekend when all was said and done, but I felt sort of guilty because I wanted to make progress on this thing hanging over me, the July plans. In other words, I will probably be fine, but I need to be mindful of how I'm planning things and spending my time. Let me keep chat open on my other monitor while I'm doing this. Morning, having some technical difficulties. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. You're not talking about with a Twitch stream, right? Or are you? Hey, Cinecello. Reheating food for breakfast. Had the chat open on my phone and watched me miss first. A classic story. What's for breakfast? Hey, Palman. So bricklaying, this is going to be supremely important this month. I think I was focusing too much on how much work there is. I'm going to try to address that this week. Get your stream sign. Hey, Chef Alton. Well, I hope you do address the technical difficulties on this very auspicious day for you. Trying to decide, am I doing everything I can to make Skeleseller successful? I think this one is going well. All right, so overall, I think things are good. I think if I had to change anything, it's that I've been talking about this stuff in terms of kind of feeling overwhelmed and having a ton of work. And I will say this, I'm not trying to downplay this. It is a lot of work. But if I just keep saying that all the time, I'm just going to keep feeling it. So today, the goal is going to be, well, the meta goals are going to be stop talking about how much work there is and try to take regular breaks. They don't need to be every hour, but, you know, if I'm in between a feature and it's been 90 minutes, I should take a break. Hey, Freak Technic. Eating the last of the butter chicken for breakfast. Okay. Next up, oh, and I should have put this in the today command. So Super Auto Gaming did a video, and let me mute YouTube. This video, share. I watched the video, I liked the video, I said I would share it, now we're gonna share it. So let's go get this from the today command. Also, check out this Skeleseller video from Super Auto Gaming. Yes, I reached out to this person over Discord, and they made this video. It is your usual Skeleseller video. So if you've seen a Skeleseller video already, you probably have seen what's in this. But still, it's from a new person. I thought it was nice. The only thing that was a little jarring to me is they cut out 45 minutes of the video, and they did it by taking like little segments here and there. So there's some like slightly abrupt jump cuts at the beginning. And you sort of get used to them. The next thing I wanted to show off, we're almost done with the pre-development work. Next thing I want to show off is the new UI design. Quickie Joe just blew me out of the water here. This was incredible. So we've always had, if I open up the game, you're not going to see anything different at first. We've always had these menus and dialogues and whatever. These have been here for a while. But then when you would open the battle map or something, what it would do is it would open... Do I have a picture of this? Before I wow you all with this new thing. Yeah, so this is what this used to look like. We had a stone texture. That's what this was supposed to be, but it doesn't really look like stone. So it kind of just looks like a flat grayish blue background. And that's it. It works. It's functional. People aren't confused by it, and it gets the job done. But now take a look at this. Blam. I think this looks amazing. So we have these little skulls at the corners of sheets of paper that are here. And we've got the same sort of functional components. Some of these, we need to work on the sizing. So for example, this, you can now only see 6 adventurers at once. Whereas with the old one, I think you could see like 10. So we got to change a few things with that. But yeah, it just looks so much better. Same thing with this money label. If we go and build the farm, you can see the wisdom sludge. Got like a nice full brain icon here. And oh yeah, then this is now a much more like in your face, hey, here are all the skills you have. And then perks we need to address the colors on. But yeah, this is, I think, really, really good. Yeah. Hey, Stockton, and hey, Guppy. Looks top. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. They'll tell me this is actually tower defense. Polish is so satisfying. Yeah, polish is really satisfying for this. Also, I really like these banners here and just how they get colored when you highlight over them. And yeah, so the unfortunate part of this is not just a like drop it in the game and have it work kind of thing. We do need to address some of these things, like this is a little bit smaller and this color you can't really see. So we're gonna have to do that at some point. But other than that, it's like knowing that we have this at some point is going to be great. And then that's it. I don't mind if this town menu still remains this style. Maybe we can make it look better, but like, yeah, this is fine. We've generally heard that the sort of presentation of the game is good. Whether or not people like the game comes down to whether they like idle games or idle-like games or how much content they might expect. So I'm very excited about eventually incorporating that. And we're going to kind of just leave it on the back burner for now. Next thing we have to do is figure out the marketing goals for this week. So I wrote down whatever last week's were. Yeah. So improve the Steam gifts. We did that. They were originally these dithered messes a little bit. Now they look pretty crisp and oh, did Steam just add this? I didn't do anything about this. They must have just put this in. You can now pause or play the gifts. Interesting. Huh. Oh, they converted to a video? Wait, whoa. If I inspect this, what is this thing? .avif. Yeah, it's a video. Huh. No, WebMs instead of GIFs? Yeah. Well, anyway, that's pretty cool. Yeah, so we did this. This was important. The process was important. I reached out to 15 different influencers, and I can't show this list because I've got all their email addresses there too. But I heard back from, I want to say just 2 people so far. And this was done on Friday, so it hasn't been very long. But I heard back from 2 people. One said, like, I'd want money to do this, and the other said, like, they'll probably make a video. So I think this particular batch of 15 was not super successful so far. But some people don't end up responding, and they just make a video. So in a week, maybe these seeds will have paid off and they'll have grown into beautiful YouTube videos. And then I posted to play my game. In my mind, this was not really that beneficial. So I can show some stats here, although I don't know how many people even care about this. But if I click this is the post that I made. This got 1.4 thousand views. That's not bad. I got 7 comments. And the Play My Game subreddit, they make it very clear, like, this is not a marketing subreddit. And in fact, one of the rules here is why can't I scroll? In order to even post your game, you need to contribute to, oh, right, I forgot to put chat on the screen. I got to get used to that. Like right on top of my head too, isn't it? Well, let me move that up. Sorry, I forgot. Test. Okay, that's a little bit better, I think. Let me move that up a little bit more. We pop his thoughts into your brain. Yeah. That was another stream update that I just completely forgot I had done. Hey, Monatic Mind, and hey, Leap Your Girl. Okay, so yeah, what was I saying? Oh yeah, Play My Game is not supposed to be for marketing. It's supposed to be for getting some feedback. But to be honest, I don't think it's really good for either use case. And this is not really, I don't know how to say this. I don't hold this against the subreddit. I just think a lot of people who have a game that they want to get feedback on, like Play My Game is not the kind of sub I guess you'd expect for that. like give feedback on my game or something. Like destroy my game is a little clearer in that front. So yeah, you have a bunch of people who are just posting who are trying to get a few more eyes on the game. And yeah, I don't think that was a great idea necessarily, but I tried it out. So whatever. So now we need marketing goals for week 3. So this is today until 7/14. So I think reach out to 15 more influencers, I think would be good. Beyond that, I'm not really sure what I want to do. I think the influencer route has been good. I think maybe I should try something on other platforms, and I'm not sure what. And we don't have a lot of time. Maybe we just stick to 15 influencers for this. Hey, Alex. This guy's pretty cool, down arrow. The username and chat messages in the VOD. Yeah. And I go back and I download the video and I edit the whole thing and scrub out every mention of your name. Hey, Phil. Happy Monday. Yeah, I think I'll stick to this and just be uncreative for this week. Just gonna leave things simple for this week so that we can mostly focus on development. Actually, you know what? If we're gonna leave things simple, why don't we reach out to like 18? I made the number 18 since this is my only task. Normally it would be 15. I think there's going to come a time pretty soon where it's hard to find YouTubers who can help be impactful. So like, let's say you just search indie games on YouTube and you find some channel here, and let's see. Wow, I'm surprised that showed up. I'm trying to find a specific like example of a thing that I want to show off, but I don't think there's a great one. No. All right. Well, I don't know. It doesn't matter. I'll just kind of illustrate this over here. So as far as like YouTubers I would want to reach are people who generally cover something similar, either indie games, idle games, etc. They have made a video somewhat recently, so like less than 2 months ago, and they have view counts that I think would actually help. So generally like greater than probably 200 or 300 views per video. At some point it's going to be hard to find these people, and I don't know how many people you reach out to before you hit that point. Is it like 500 YouTubers who fit this category? Is it 5,000? I don't have an answer for that. And my spreadsheet is up to maybe like 60 names. And I know there are other YouTubers. It's not like I've exhausted the whole list at 60. I find a lot of people who they fit a couple of these, but not all of them. So like they had a lot of views on their videos. They look like they would love my game, but they just haven't made a video in like 3 years. They're probably not going to make a video just because I asked them to and come out of their 3-year retirement from YouTube. Or they are covering things that are similar. They made videos even 2 hours ago, but their view counts are like 10. And I think the thing I learned from the people with at least pretty low view counts is they might even quintuple their view counts for Skeleseller. They go from 10 views to 50, but that's still not really that helpful. So yeah, I gotta think of how I'm gonna do this and keep moving forward. If you thought about reaching out to RCE, Real Civil Engineer, I think they're on my list. If I look at the public sheet, we can at least see. Yes, they are on my list. So the way I've been bucketizing people right now has been based on the number of subscriptions they have. So this person's at 2.6 million. I want to wait a little bit longer to see what's been working, because almost certainly someone like this is going to be a lightning rod for people asking, hey, will you play my game? Will you play my game? And it'll be easy to get lost in a sea of emails. So you typically would offer money, and I don't really have that to offer. So if I don't need to reach out to these people, because let's say Skeleseller lands on their radar and their own viewers are telling them to play the game, then we kind of save ourselves a lot of trouble. Markiplier plays indie games, usually horror, but maybe you can offer a cooldown for him. Copy Oprah, everyone gets a request. Again, Markiplier is the kind of name where I would expect, like, he probably gets emailed 100 different things per day. And what are the odds he even opens any of those emails anymore? And if he does, would he just be looking for like, oh, hey, here's $10,000 to make a video? Because if I were, I think Markiplier has what, like more than 10 million subs or something. I haven't looked at his channel. Yeah, 40 million. This is nuts. Yeah, when you're at that level, and I'm guessing too that his videos are not like small numbers of views. Yeah. So if you're beyond a million, the ad revenue you're getting from YouTube alone is like, okay, any video you make is going to be worthwhile. But then the kind of things it's the kind of amounts that sponsors would be willing to pay for this is probably in the like $10,000 minimum range, I'd guess. So it's like each video is looking like a $15,000 paycheck. So why would you play a game for free? That's kind of how I look at it. And it's not always true, but it's just like I'd have to handcraft an email. I don't actually watch a lot of these people. So yeah, we figured out the marketing goal. Consider using one of those platforms that specialize in reaching out to content creators. Yeah, you know, that is another thing we should write down. I'll write that down for next week. If it feels like there's just a drip feed of YouTubers to reach out to, consider using a platform that can reach out to them for me. It may target a lot of the same people though. Yeah, I'll write that down. Hey, Mad Max, wow, 10K. Yeah, there's a lot of money in just advertising, and that's essentially the primary way of monetizing a YouTube channel, either because YouTube's doing it or because you're doing it for a sponsor. You're telling yourself no in advance. No, not necessarily. The way I'm looking at this is we only have so much time in the week, and I have normal dev tasks as well. So it's not like I'm just doing marketing. So the marketing time that I've been setting aside for this is like maybe 3 to 5 hours per week right now. And in that time, we should try to target the people who are going to be most valuable or most likely to respond. If I were doing, let's say, 40 hours per week of this, yeah, I should probably just be reaching out to everybody. But I think we got to be a little picky at first. And I just mean picky in terms of priorities, not in terms, well, I guess it's picky in both ways. Become friends with at least one very influential influencer. Use that friendship to market Skeleseller. This is another thing I was thinking is that let's say you yourself are an influencer, and in a sense I am, but let's say I had like 1 million YouTube subs. You might over index on that audience and be like, oh, well, I'm already a successful YouTuber, so I'll just keep making videos. And I've seen some people do this. There was someone who made, I want to say it was a platformer where you could like change gravity or something. He's like game dev journals or something. I forgot the exact name of the YouTuber. And he mostly made his own videos to market the game. And it worked. But I wonder how much better this person would have done if they hadn't been an influencer. Or if they'd been an influencer and then also got other people on board or something. I don't, GMTK, that's probably it. Game Maker Toolkit. Yeah, thanks, Wade. Those marketing hours spent like watching their videos and crafting personal outreach. It's a combination of finding them, getting their emails, watching some stuff, and then yeah, crafting the outreach messages. Yeah, why does it take me that long? Like the other day, it was Friday, I went through 15 of these. And yeah, I guess the whole reason I'm spending that long is typically like figuring out what 1 or 2 sentences I'm trying to customize in the email. Saw a video where a lady hired 3 Fiverr devs to make her a game in the longest time period. The highest paid dev got 28 days and $700 was insane to me. Didn't have all the polish of a AAA game. That seems crazy to me versus what she probably made off the video. Yeah, there's some like YouTube economics to consider, and when you consider someone like Mr. Beast and how, to be honest, I've watched probably like one Mr. Beast video, so I'm not totally sure, but at one point he was just like literally handing out money to people in real life for content. There is some investment you're doing by doing that. Like it goes true even for advertising. If you spend $200 on ads and then you get back $1,000 in sales, then obviously it was worthwhile. So if you look at that video that lady made as being a $700 investment, and she knew she would get, I'm making up a number here, $20,000, it's like, well, that's a no-brainer. Entertainment's volatile, so you never can guarantee you'll get that much unless you have a sponsor on the hook. Not sure you can just consider Mr. Beast. No, I'm just saying that everything is investment in this realm. Writing an email that makes you sound human, like you care, and convincing them to care is not easy. Yeah, yeah. And also, like, this person, Super Auto Gaming, they literally said, like, your Discord message made me laugh, and now I'll cover your game as a result of that. Like, that's, I looked into them enough to kind of figure out what their sense of humor would be. That is personalized marketing. Granted, I also think they would like the game. Their whole channel was set up about auto battlers. So it seemed like it was up their alley. About to start on the marketing train in a month or two. Yeah, I think it's good to start as soon as you feel you have something polished enough. Essentially, YouTubers shouldn't be commenting on issues you know you have. Once you're at the point where you're beyond this, I think it's worth it to just start reaching out to people. And yeah, I think the general strategy that I saw work so far is like small YouTubers at first, medium ones occasionally, and hope that this puts it on the radar of the larger ones. But yeah, I've only reached out to a couple of larger ones and I haven't gotten a response so far. And that's how it was back in the Botland days too. You got to do something like super personal. Hey Ryan, I don't know if I said this, but hi Syracuse. Not sure custom emails are even necessary except for a few high profile ones. I think they mostly care about what the game looks like and how to play. Yeah, it's hard for me to know because I have had people comment on how the personal touch is what convinced them. Even one of the smaller YouTubers said, like, I just got an email from a human, and he even, in trying to email him, I found that his email was listed wrong on his YouTube channel, and he even commented on that, and he's like, oh, that was great. You know, it's nice to just talk to somebody and not get marketing spew at you. And I've gotten a ton of emails over the course of my time on Twitch that are like, hey, love your content. Do you want to do a partnership with blah? And it's like, love your content means they never looked at anything I did, or they'd actually comment on it. And I got something as recently as I think today from another publisher just saying like, hey, couldn't find your contact information. And then they just copy pasted their message. And it's like, I don't like that. And if I were being offered money for this stuff, it's like, okay, well, I guess it doesn't need to be personal. But yeah, all right, I'm going to get to work. Originally targeted by personalized marketing years ago, not just some slop. Was that true? Wait, are you talking about from me? Because I think you found my stream from the Twitter stuff that we were talking a long time ago about bots for your tool that you had. So if we say we love your content, we're lying. Got it. Yes, exactly. You have to say I hate your content. I hate reaching out to you. Okay, so 2 goals for today. Like I said, no complaints and breaks. We're gonna get through this. It's gonna be fun. Not going to talk about how much work this is going to be. And in a month, this is going to be done. And it's going to be great. So yeah, let's start tackling some of this. I don't remember where I left off. So we need to go back to that. Man, the chat above my head is now catching my eye every time a message is sent, but farther to the left of where I normally look. So it makes it seem like it's going to be YouTube chat, but it's not. Maybe wonder if it was a bot, which is something I would have cared about at the time. Yeah, but that wasn't personalized marketing. That was just coincidence. All right, the problem is I don't know what I named this branch. Probably add treasure. Is there a... Oh, I called it treasure chest. Okay. Treasure chest. Cool. So now we're on this branch, and I don't think we really did anything too much. Because last week, I think we just had, what, 1 day that I spent doing this? I haven't modified anything, right? Okay, let's try this out. So I think we got keys in the game, but we didn't get treasure chests in the game. And we didn't get key storage, and we didn't get a weapon grinder. No, we got key storage. So I do this. Yeah, so there's our key storage, and then I can make keys appear, and I can put the keys onto the key storage. But nothing else can go here, and keys can't be used for pretty much anything right now. In fact, what happens if you try feeding a key to the slime? The chef slime only accepts food and potions, which will be placed in the extractor. Yeah, cool, perfect. Okay. It's nice to hear you mention how Kit found an important shout. Yeah, Kit's been great. I'm glad we're friends. And not just, I don't mean just from the marketing perspective. I mean, it's a very, how do I say this? Like untraditional workplace when you're a Twitch streamer. You don't go into an office. You don't tend to meet other people. You don't necessarily even work with other people. So how do you get sort of the benefits of a regular job, like the social structure, the familiarity? All All right, save key storage. Is this really the most important thing to do right now? I guess it's not hard to do. And I guess we should look at this like bricklaying, just do the stuff we need to do. So we have a storeroom save data. That's here, and it's just a level and a list of items. And then we have probably a to-do item in here that says, okay, let me reload this. You don't even chat with real people. I'm a bot. You're a very well-coded bot, Syracuse. Hey, Campbell Soup. Just use the key store the OS provides. You're right. I don't think I saw that message the first time around. There should be save data in here. Maybe there isn't because it's in storeroom. Is there save data on this? There is. Oh, so this should be really simple then, right? Where do we put this right now? Town save data? Storeroom, vault. Okay, so we're gonna just put key storage here, and then I guess we're just done. Well, not really just done, but we're pretty close to it, I think. So now in the town, I think we have a to-do item here. Yes. So add in the save data for this. Key storage save data. Unexpected, comma, missing what? Oh, that's weird. The AI put a colon there. I feel like should have, or maybe I did. Maybe I'm blaming the AI. All right, that's it. I think this should work now. So let's go try this. It was like 2 lines of code. This is what shows that we coded things well a while ago. So I add in this key storage, I save the game, and I load. We should see those 4 things show up. We don't, because I don't check in loading that we have this thing there. So that's the problem. In fact, it didn't even error, which is maybe we need to look into that. Where's the vault stuff that we have here? Here it is. All right, so if save data dot key storage save data is not null, then do that, and that's it. So a few other lines of code. You can't just save things. You need to load them sometimes. All right, so now we load. And yep, there they are. And now let's try putting a key in one of them. Let's put in the second one and then save and load. And there's our key in the second one. Cool. All right, well, that was easy. Not bad at all. And we got rid of one to-do item. Save and load key storage. Done. Add a signpost for key storage. It should probably be based on having the treasure room. However, for debug builds, we should do what we did with the pond and farm. Building the pond builds a farm for you. It's not even just debug builds. Debug or playtest builds, I think. So adding a signpost so that we don't need to press page up. I guess after that, get rid of pressing page up to build the thing that we should now have a sign for. And the real, no, maybe we I don't know about that. The real condition for showing this in the game is going to be beating the Inferno, because that's what's going to put you into like, you can go through the game again mode. Wait a second. I guess as a balance problem, one of the issues is going to be if you beat the Inferno, it doesn't necessarily mean you can beat the repeat of the forest. And if that's the only way you can get treasure chests, then you're going to have this system that you can't interact with. Maybe we have the Inferno drop treasure chest, or maybe one of the bosses drops one. I guess we'll need to think about that for later. You need to think of how you start getting your first treasure chest in the real game. If beating the Inferno is quite a challenge, then beating the next location will probably also be a challenge. Maybe there's a boss in between and you get your first chest from that. What do the treasure chests do? So the treasure chests just open up into a bunch of loot. The way this is going to work is you're going to get a treasure room. So imagine, let's just do this. Imagine that these 4 slots are like treasure chest slots. So there's going to be a chest here, and when you put a chest here, it's going to have a timer like 10 minutes above it. But we never actually expect you to take 10 minutes. You're going to use these keys and put them into the treasure chest, and the keys are going to be something like, you know, -1 minute of time. This would be like, oops, this would be like key A. Key B might be like something like -20% time. Key C might be something like +10% loot. So you're going to use a combination of keys to open the cheese. Yeah, so a combination of keys open the chest, and then a bunch of loot will pop out of it, which will make it more valuable than if you'd just been battling. So that mechanic is going to have a bunch of perks associated with it, like make the keys better, or make the treasure chest have more loot, or make treasure chests drop more frequently. Sense of pride and accomplishment. Micro treasure. All right, signpost for key storage. Let's go do that. So we have a vault sign. We do. Why is this its own class? Because it has its own script. And the script needs to know about the labels and stuff. Okay, that's fine. We'll save this as key storage sign. Yeah, I think the treasure chest thing is going to be interesting. It's gonna essentially be like treasure is the new mechanic for the latter half of the game. So it's going to start probably a bit slow and then get faster. I think it'll be exciting that you're getting like a lot of loot. It will give you, but I never mentioned how you get keys. The way you get keys is you'll have a weapon grinder. So imagine a machine like this, but instead of dumping in potions to get seeds on your farm, you dump in weapons and it grinds out keys for you. So it's like another way of interacting with all this stuff. You'll still need to collect weapons to get keys. You'll need to win battles to get the treasure chests. You'll need to spend your keys. It's almost like a little mini game of how best to spend your keys. And maybe we need to lean into that a little bit more. Generic loot buff system, essentially. Yeah, pretty much. And then I think this will play into rare items. So the chests themselves will be rare. But then some items within, well, it could be rare. I shouldn't say will be rare. And then the rare items might have another system they feed into. So we were talking about a museum a while ago, which what if it had something like collect one of every item? And this includes rare items, or maybe collect one of every rare item only. We don't probably care about the easy stuff. And I don't know what this would do. Maybe it gives you perks. Maybe it's just for fun thing. Hey, bits. Kind of cool. I like it. Well, this is one of the things that we got to figure out, which is on paper, it checks a lot of boxes. So now, does it feel fun when it's tangible? And yeah. And there are two ways we could go about this. We could prototype super fast and see if it'll be fun, or just code it the right way and hope it'll be fun. So how much are we banking on this thing working? So I'm going with this way. We're just coding it. It's not going to take so much longer than prototyping it. So yeah. It's like you're nurturing loot eggs. Yeah, I don't know if you heard the original idea, but we were talking about like some kind of monster collection. Like imagine you get eggs and you incubate them and they, I don't know, hatch into some kind of creature. And then you raise the creature and then you feed it to the chef slime. I find this hilarious because most of the time when you have monster raising, it's for the sake of like, oh, well, they're producing resources for you or you're fighting with them or something like that. But in this case, it was like you're just plumping them up. They're just food. And you feed them to the chef slime and it gives you experience points, basically. But that we can save for later. I think that could still make it into the game. Okay, so now we need this saved as key storage sign. And we need this to have the right thing. Done. And now we need all of this to have the right stuff here. So key storage. All right, so cost. There's a get cost of next vault upgrade. We don't really have the concept of upgrading this thing, which maybe I need to consider. I think I wrote this down here somewhere, did I? Upgrade. Ah, yeah, here it is. Make sure we change some parameters. Same thing with, what is it? Get cost of, I'll just paste this in. Key storage, upgrade costs, and fetching the costs. Okay, so we're going to put in key storage upgrade cost, but just put in one of these. And we're going to have it cost 100. I don't know about prices. We're not going to try to figure out prices yet. And this is going to be... Whoops. Meant to select that and actually do this correctly. Key storage upgrade. Cool. So that's done. So now it's going to be build key storage. Key storage. So what do we say for this? The key storage should come with a weapon grinder, right? Did I ever answer that question? I don't know if I ever answered that question. So we have a treasure room. We have key storage. How do you get the weapon grinder? Option 1 is it comes with a storage. And option 2 is you build it separately. I mean, that's it. It can only be one of those two things. And I think I'm leaning toward this. But then we'd probably not call it key storage. We'd probably call it like key. It's both production and storage. Maybe we just say weapon grinder and key storage. Or maybe we just say weapon grinder. I don't know. I don't know what we do about that. But I think this is the important conclusion here, which is how do you get it? It just comes with a key storage. So you build this thing and there's just a weapon grinder there. And I don't know what we name it. Balancing how many treasure chests you get. If you find managing maybe like 3 at a time, any more, I'd probably feel overloaded. Pretty sensitive to that though. Maybe the average player would be able to manage more. Well, don't forget, this is an idle light game. So it's not just you managing them. Like the chests are automatically taken by workers to your treasure room, and the keys can be automatically produced, and the keys can be automatically used on the chest. So that probably at the end game, it'll be like you get a chest every minute and it opens a minute later. So essentially what that works out to is every minute you get a loot bomb where you just a bunch of items spew into your town without you doing anything. And then if you wanted to speed it up, you could probably manually do some stuff, but you wouldn't really have to. But at first, it'll probably feel pretty manual. So I think that'll, like I said, this checks a lot of boxes. It should hopefully feel fun. All right, so this doesn't really build key storage. I guess we still have that same problem, right? What do we call this? Weapon grinder and key storage. Maybe we just say the two of them, weapon grinder and key storage. Allows you to create keys to open treasure chests and includes storage for those keys. All right, now what is this word? What is this? Label above sign, dialogue title, building menu, button text. Okay, I guess this looks like this. Hey, who cares? How's everyone's fourth? Mine was good. I took the day off, which means I worked only in the morning. And then every year, our neighborhood does like a little neighborhood walk. And in the past years, it's been so hot. So we just have not joined people on that walk. And last year, I said to my wife, I'm like, next year, 2025, we're going to do this. So we did, and it was really nice. There's just a lot of people out and about. I've said this before, but, or maybe I haven't said this, I don't know. But I grew up in like not a neighborhood. I was in the middle of nowhere pretty much. Not exactly totally middle of nowhere, but essentially when you consider a city. So when I first moved here to this neighborhood, I was like, oh my God, I'm in The Sims. There are people outside walking their animals. There are people talking to each other outside. It just felt so surreal to me. So yeah, that was part of on the 4th. We just went on a walk. And it was just nice to see everybody. A perfect alibi. Is it going to be a big pile next to the grinder? It's going to be what you see here pretty much. It's going to be some item displays next to the grinder. But I think a pile next to the grinder would also be pretty funny. But I think it's better from a discrete management perspective to have keys like this. Yeah. Okay, so upgrade labels. We'll say add storage. Allows you to store one more key in your vault. It's actually technically not that way, but that's fine enough, I guess. All right, so smoke particles create, town not create vaults. So this is gonna be create key storage, I guess, and then just build. All right, looks good. Now let's go plug that in. So we have town, and then we have signs somewhere. Here they are, and we're gonna put this keys. Oh, wait, we can't do it that way. Okay, we're going to do this. We're going to put that there. And then we're going to position this down here. Why is this not showing? Oh, there it is. All right, so let's put that there for now. It's not the best position, but it's not terrible. Then we'll go plug this in over here. Vault sign. So this is going to be key storage sign. And as mentioned, this is also the weapon grinder. So let's see where we did all of this stuff. It should know how to change that. Good. Excellent. Oh, do I have the wrong thing on my clipboard? All right, so show vault sign and reflect current building status. I guess we want to do the same thing over here. Is that it? Yeah, that's pretty much it, except for that nothing actually calls this right now. I guess it's going to be like show warehouse sign. Init show. What does call this? The town calls it. And oh, here. I didn't realize show remaining signs. Okay, so we want this here somewhere then. Show key storage sign. And does anything else do this? Show signs after beating the first boss. No, this would have to happen at some other point in the game. Where do we show the fishing pond sign? What? Oh, interesting. It's when you potentially beat... Oh, okay, okay. So you... Let's not worry about this yet then. Do we need the treasure room? So after I've coded the treasure room, we got to do this. Treasure room. Okay, so change how we show the key storage sign. It should only show up after you've built the treasure room. And that means we need a treasure room sign. Do I have that there? Yes, I do. Okay, let's put this part up here then. Okay, okay. We're looking good, I think. Can we run this? Did I forget something? I don't think we have a max level here. Although maybe it just knows. Let's find out. So it should cost 100 to build this building. And then that's it. The sign should just disappear. So there's the sign. It says build weapon grinder and key storage. Allows you to create keys to open treasure chests and include storage for those keys. It says 30 gold though. Where'd that come from? Key storage sign. Get cost. Oh, whoops. That's supposed to say key storage. Okay, well, ignoring the 30 then. If we click this, does it work? Sort of. Then this is still here. I guess because there's no such thing as an upgradable building with 0 upgrade levels. So if we save and load, what happens? Is it delete the sign? It does. This doesn't know what to do. Reposition or hide sign. Has reached max level. Current level is max level. What is max level? I building. Does key storage have that set somewhere? Storeroom has it. Max level. Return -1. Something has to override this then? Key storage does. And oh, it's at the max warehouse level. Okay, no, this is dumb. Also, this is even dumb. Max warehouse level being 64. No, technically that's not dumb. Okay, well then we're going to do it this way. We're going to say key storage costs dot count or length. So max level is going to be 1. And get cost of next upgrade is going to be next key storage upgrade. Anything else in here that says warehouse? Yes. There's a lot of that. What do we do then? All right, let's look at the vault for this. Warehouse. This doesn't even happen here. Where was that code? It's in key storage. Why does vault not have this? Upgraded storeroom. Oh, it's just add one item display. Okay, okay, I see. Huh. We're gonna need to change this, huh? All right, let's put a breakpoint here. Let's try running this. I want to see if we can tell what the current level is. I think we can. And then if it's level 1, then we set it to 4 displays, and anything beyond that, and we just ignore it for now. So can I get the level? Get level? I don't know where this is. It's underscore level, but it's private. So wait, there's no way for the children to get this? No, there's get current level. Oh, I typed get level. Okay, it's 0. So yeah, at level 0 is when we want to make 4 of these things. So if get current level equals 0, then how do I want to do this? I guess let's go make this here. Public const int num starting key storage displays equals 4. There is no way to level this right now. Otherwise, just add one item display. Sure. All right, that's probably pretty reasonable. Now, what's this about? Get cost of next upgrade. This is to try to figure out what level we are. Why did I even do this? Why do we get the number of item displays? Shouldn't this get the level that we have? This seems silly. Get number of item displays. And what is this? This just takes it. What? What? No, that makes no sense. All right, let's change this to be level. And then let's change this to use the level. Get current level. Can I not do that? And now before I go anywhere... Oh, whoops, I already... All right, well, ignore that then. Let's make sure we didn't break the warehouse. Yeah, because this could have been coded slightly better, I suppose, which is now hopefully done. So now the warehouse costs 30 to build, 150 to upgrade, 30 to build, 150 to upgrade. That sounds wrong. That sounds incredibly wrong, which means that the level of this thing must be considered to be equal to the number of item displays we have, which is a no-no. Yeah, I want a breakpoint on this thing. Get current level. What is this equal to? Yeah, it's 4. Okay, that's the problem. Why? Why is that the case? Level plus plus every time we add an item display? All right, well, that's not smart. Add number of item displays equals 0, is less than number of displays. All right, well, let's not change this then. There's no reason to do this. We'll revert that, and we'll revert the cost function. Because as long as key storage is fine for now, that's all I really care about. And now, hopefully we did this right. I should probably set the max level to be like 3, just to make sure we can add more of these if we want to. Well, I don't know for sure that we do ever want to add more. So we should start with 4 of these. It costs 100 gold. And then this sign should go away. I don't know why it isn't going away. We have the build function, which calls this, which calls this, which calls into here, has reached max level. So let's put a breakpoint there. All right, so this is going to get hit for a bunch of different things. We just ignore those. Then we go and build this. And that's weird. This function didn't even get called. Oh, because if the building hadn't been built yet, then we could never consider ourselves to have reached the max level. Interesting. So we need this check to be done over here. But it's only in the case of the... No, this is basically an incorrect usage of this sign type. There's a build and upgrade sign, and then there's just a build sign, isn't there? I think it's... I don't know what it's called, but I'm pretty sure it exists. What's the thing you just build once? The farm. Yeah, that's just signpost. So then we should be just using signpost right now. Okay, I'll write that down. let's just not worry about it for now. How about this? Let's even go into game constants and let's just add in one other level of this. Maybe, so we don't really need another level. I guess 100 is fine. So then if I get the money to do this and I build one more thing, we should have one more item display. That didn't work. I don't know why that didn't work. Because we set a max level somewhere? Yeah, because I set a max level of 1. No, so this just needs to be 2. Yeah, I don't know what I want to do with this yet. That's the problem. Like, code-wise, it'd be easy to figure out if we knew what I wanted to do design-wise, but I don't have the answer to the design problem. So I should be able to build one more of these. It still doesn't work. Which means that I'm a liar and that code-wise this is still broken. What I think might be going on is that the number of item displays is equal to the level that this thing is. So actually the max level here would be 5. But even that I'm not positive about. And I need to debug this at this point. Unless this just works. It did not just work. So build is messing up. Well, before I forget, let me write this thing down about upgrades. We don't allow upgrading this. Same thing with that. Get max or key storage sign can inherit from signpost rather than build an upgrade sign. What are we doing wrong? So I call build? Vault sign only overrides build. So it must know how to upgrade this thing. Building.upgrade. Is there an upgrade function here? Vault doesn't have it, but storeroom probably has it. Ah, there it is. If the current level is greater than or equal to the max level, then return. Otherwise call upgraded. Upgraded is virtual. It's right here, and it should call add item display. Okay, so something's going wrong there. And I guess we'll put a breakpoint here too. And whatever is calling this thing here. Because I don't know what the current level is. Max level is definitely 5. I have it hard coded to 5 right there. So let's try that out. All right, so build the first thing. Current level should be 0. Yep. Max level should be 5. Whoops. 5. Good. Then we call upgraded. And since the level is 0, we add a bunch of displays. Sounds good. Now we click that again, and what happens? Now current level should be 4, I believe. It's still 0. Well, that's strange. And then if it's 0, it should add 4 item displays, but it doesn't know where to put them, I guess. Oh, because the level's 0. Yeah, of course. Okay. Silly me. Although this is supposed to add 1 to the level. So what's going wrong here? Indeed. This adds 1 to the level. So how could get current level still be 0? Huh. I don't have an answer for that. Yeah. I don't have an answer for that. Wow, strange. Okay, let's put a breakpoint there. Every time it adds an item display, its level should go up by 1. So we don't care about that. We do care about this. We go into this thing. There it is, level plus plus. So now level should be 1. Great. Now we call this again. If we just call get current level now, it should be 1 already. It is. So then we add the next one of these. Now it should be 2. So something's resetting this? Maybe because it thinks we're building another key storage? Maybe 2 signs exist there? I don't have an answer for that. Yeah, I don't have an answer for that yet. Show vault sign. Okay, I think we need to do this. Yeah, I think we need to do this. I think we haven't moved this thing. Signs.show key storage sign. This is not good. I should probably have just come to a conclusion before doing any of this. What should the design be? Because I feel like I'm coding for something that may never happen. This thing is still there. Something's wrong. Something's terribly wrong. This should move the sign. Position equals get next sign position. Vector 2.0. The building itself has this. So key storage would have it. Get next sign position. It doesn't exist here. It must be in storeroom. Yeah, here it is. Oh, did I change some of this stuff? No, I didn't. All right, I'm confused. Thanks, Bits. I made a dev efficiency course, which is now totally free. If you want to check that out, that'll probably have some helpful pointers. I am confused by this. Also, I gotta write this down. Town create key storage would stop calling this function. So it's not even repositioning this sign. That's the problem that I'm noticing here. And the thing that should reposition it is the build and upgrade sign. So we need to find out why this is going wrong. Maybe it doesn't even consider the building to have been built. Maybe I should just put this here. Yeah, I hope it helps. It was the last paid course that I have, and I finally just made it free. So it is publicly accessible on YouTube. Is this going to get hit every single time? No, it's not. And now I do this, and what happens? Building is built is false. Why? It doesn't think it's built? What? If it's current level... Oh, in this case, okay, it actually technically hasn't been built, I guess. Yeah, it's null. Shouldn't there be a get building call then? Maybe that's what we're doing wrong here. Something needs to know that this points to... Do we still have a reference to vault or warehouse in here? Only there. Man, something needs to know this, and I don't know what knows it. There's like a get building. Yeah, I'm so confused by this. I guess this thing is the building. What am I missing? Because we've already added this thing and initialized it, and it doesn't know that it's built. There is an upgraded warehouse, I guess, or upgraded storeroom. Maybe I just didn't connect that to something. Action on upgraded. Yeah, what does this call? Maybe that's the key. Set up storeroom. Well, would you look at that? Did I do this for the key storage? I did. So is there some other piece of this puzzle that I'm missing here? I'm just so confused by this right now. Rebake navigation mesh. Okay, that part's fine. Is there anything else this needs to do? No, not really. Just upgrade. And then call upgraded storeroom, which calls into the key storage thing. Huh. Yeah, I don't know. Gonna get fixed, so I'm signing off. All right, take care, Kevin. Good luck with today. Hope you have a good time. All right, so the building's not built. What happens when I hit the play button here? Now this gets called again after we've built the thing. Yeah, it's built or upgraded as called. So now this should be true. It's still false. What? How? Oh, maybe the sign is getting the wrong thing. I didn't even think about that. Oh my god, it is. Oh wow, I'm stupid. Okay. I was looking for vault in the wrong file. Okay, okay. That was really stupid. Yeah, no two ways about that. Should have realized that earlier. Take care, Bits. And if you do check out those videos, do let me know what you think. You don't have to check them out. But like I said, if you do, then I want to know what you think. All right, we did it. Wow, it just took me a while to realize this thing was pointing to a vault and it shouldn't have been. So now we can build that. Yeah, perfect. Okay, this is all working great. So if we save and load, we shouldn't see a sign. And oh, we do. That's not correct. But that might be because we call show on this thing regardless. That wouldn't make any sense. Indeed. We build this thing, and then the thing that's responsible for hiding this is create key storage right here. So as long as I just load this, that should get called. Good, it is. And then we call reflect current building status, which should hide this thing, but doesn't think it's reached the max level. So building.get current level is 4. It's 5. 0, 1, 2, 3. Maybe it is 4. Oh, well, then that's not so bad. But why did it hide? I need to see what the warehouse does. The max level is considered to be 64 here, which is the number of item displays you have when it's at the max. And we have this thing set to 5, which is the number of item displays when it's at max. So why does it think the current level is 4? Maybe it didn't save correctly. Did it save correctly? Where's my save file? Save.json. Key storage. Items. Level 5. Why did it load in as 4 then? What? Yeah, what? Maybe it's because this thing doesn't know how to load correctly because I broke. Okay, this might be the case. We go through all item displays. We add that number of them. So we have 5, but then we have the sign. The level should be set to 5 at that point. It isn't. What if I just hit the play button here? What happens? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, what's going on? I'm so confused. All right, well, how do we get how many item displays we have? Building, building. There is no concept of how many item displays it has. The thing that would load this is storeroom load right here. Let's put a breakpoint there. So save data in this case says level is 5. So we add a bunch of those, and then we call get current level, and it thinks it's 5. So there's an ordering problem here. All right. Yeah, there probably is. Maybe because we never had a difference between how many you build the first time versus how many you build after that. Perhaps even if I were to just test this out and say that the max level is 8, and then we just add 4 no matter what, maybe then there wouldn't be a problem. Let's try that. This is at least my hunch for right now, because I just never needed this functionality. And we could change this. It's just, I need to look through the code and see if we're changing it correctly. So we do this. And now we can build 8, we can build 4 more. So now I save and load, and the sign should not show up. It still does show up. Okay, well, I don't know. I'm not gonna worry about this for right now. I just don't feel like this is very important. So I'll put this back to how it was, and we'll just say that this is good enough. I wonder if this happened with the warehouse and that I should be doing that. Like if I just click this, the sign still shows, but if I load, does it show? It doesn't. So something here knows that this thing is different. Oh, maybe because we at some point check how many item displays you should have. We have number of displays per column, and we know how many columns we have, right? What do we use that for? No, pretty much nothing. We just check against the max level. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'll just write it down as a cleanup thing. Okay, figure out whether you should be able to upgrade the number of keys stored via key storage. If we allow for upgrading, then I need to fix the bug where the sign still shows even after you reach the maximum level. If we don't allow for upgrading, then we need to change a bunch of code. So that's it. That's where we're leaving this as. I think this is fine. I don't think we should be belaboring this point. The rest of this stuff looks like it's okay. We're starting keys, that's fine. This is not good. Allows you to store one more key in your... Allows you to store one more key. Yeah, just that. That's fine. This is good. This is good for now. I guess either way, change get max level. Yeah. Either way, change key storage dot get max level. Cost functions looks good. And looks good. Cool. So add sign for key storage. It's also how you build the weapon grinder, but we don't have the weapon grinder in the game yet. Cool. All right, what's up next? Hey, Brodo. Have I ever asked what your favorite game engine is? I don't think so, but people used to ask, like, what's your favorite language? And my answer would usually be whatever language I'm using at the time. Typically, because if I'm using that language, it means I must have liked it enough, but also it's just whatever I'm familiar with. And I think what this represents really is just, I don't really care too much about the tooling that I'm using as long as it's not directly getting in the way. So at the moment, I'm using Godot. I would also say Godot is my favorite game engine. But if I were using Unity, I'd probably say, well, now Unity is my favorite game engine. So yeah, I think it's just whatever I'm using at the time. Enjoy the source engine for its modability. I've never used the source engine. I've used a bunch of different game engines. I don't think any of them stand out to me as being like, oh man, I really missed the days where I was using that one. Plus, all the game engines that are being maintained are getting new features, are becoming better and better. And if they're not being maintained, then I guess it's a question of like, what is the kind of game you'd be making with it? Like there are game engines that are meant to make games for, let's say, Game Boy Advance. Did those engines need to get much better? Probably not. It's not like the Game Boy Advance is getting any better or different or upgraded or any of that stuff. So it's like, oh, the engine can just be stuck in time too. I know that's not always the case. Your tooling could still get better even if your target platform doesn't ever change. Yeah. Okay, so this is done. Should probably be based on having the treasure room. However, we should do what we did for the pond and farm. I think I wrote this down. Where is it? Also, yeah. For debug and playtest builds, we should automatically build the treasure room when you get key storage. What was I going to say after that? Oh yeah, this is like how the pond and farm work. And then get rid of pressing page up to build a thing. That's a to-do item. And I guess I already have this in my code somewhere, right? So I don't really care about this, but there's a to-do written. Yeah, remove debug code. All right, I'll just write down at some point we got to delete all the to-do items. Where is that? And why is it under major work? Cleanup, tackle to-do items. Okay, whoops, that should not be there. Let's put a cleanup at the bottom, and that's where this will go. And cleanup should technically be done before all the major work is finished. Address all to-do items and run .NET format. Mentions both for Mac CPUs. Does that mean both Intel and Apple Silicon? I think maybe what you're asking is like, do you require both CPUs? It just means it would run on either Intel or Mac Silicon. So I guess either would technically be correct. But I wonder if Steam has some guidance for like just write both for that or what. With that said, I don't know how much that might spark confusion from someone looking to get it. Also, they'd be able to play the demo. So I guess the demo would let them know. Like if the demo runs, it should run on their machine. All right, so this is done. Except for the get rid of page up thing. So now the weapon grinder, add the weapon grinder and keys. So we have keys. We don't have the weapon grinder. We need all this stuff. Separate the building of key storage from treasure room. You need to make it very clear this isn't mobile garbage territory. Hopefully the game makes that clear. It did confuse me at first. Yeah, but like I said, there's no such configuration that has both of those. So it might confuse you for like half a second and then you probably just tried downloading the demo anyway, right? All right, so weapon grinder would be next. So let me think about this. I mentioned that we have the extractor, but we don't have all of the graphics set up that we would need. And I want the weapon grinder to be its own building. Oh, this is where this cleanup went. Change the arrangement of item displays, clear a path, create smoke when building the weapon grinder. We don't need a signpost now just for that. I guess it's make sure the smoke covers everything. Make sure the smoke covers everything in the storage / grinder area. This includes the one in item ID.keys description. Okay, yeah. So let's move all this stuff out of here and put this in cleanup. This shouldn't be a problem. This is like just fill out all the descriptions. I.e. just fill out all of the keys descriptions. Ooh. Tackle to do items, change the arrangement of that. That's all good. All right, so what are we doing here? We're gonna is a key informs keys, but we need some way to turn them off, and a machine probably wouldn't do that. With an off switch, make this. Yeah, I don't think I want to do that. Has a pipe coming out of it. Grass at the bottom. Should probably just chop off the pipe. Yeah, I'll write this down under cleanup. I don't think we need to do this right now. We can just reuse the extractor graphic completely. So make a new item machine that represents the weapon grinder. Just use the same graphic for now. And then build this when you build the key storage. Have a hard time catching subtle social cues because of my ASD. Yeah, I don't think this is helpful. So yeah, I don't think we should talk about this. And thanks for asking. The way I look at this is like, would someone not buy the game because of these things? Like, probably not. They'd just test the demo. And then if that works, they'd make a decision of whether they like it or not. So yeah, I think that's the main driver for this. The other thing that I think plays into this is that probably most people don't even look at that. I think what most people would probably look at for something like a game like this. So I'm not saying no one looks at specs, but if the game looks like this, they're probably not like, will my, old video card run this? They'd probably just assume that it would. But where I think they will look is this button right here. Right above download, they have 3 icons. And as long as you see a little apple, you'd be like, oh, okay, that works for me. And they'd combine that with the release date. And that's for the people who, like, if you don't know about CPU architectures, you wouldn't even consider any of this stuff. You'd just be like, oh, there's a Mac build. And if you do know about CPU architectures, I think you'd know how to read between the lines for this and be able to figure out what to do, or you'd look at the forums or you'd make a post or something. So yeah, it just doesn't really make too much of a difference. All right, what else do we have here? Build this when you build a key storage, make sure the smoke covers everything, make this thing, and then get this working. I could have sworn I started working on this, but then did I not finish it? I know I wrote code about accumulated value. Where did I put accumulated value? Oh God. Where did I put this? I know for sure I wrote code about it. Get stash dash dash list. How do you do this? Oh, it's not dash dash. Oh, there it is. Work in progress, add key storage. What might you do? Weapon grinder stuff. Well, would you look at that? I know I wrote this code. Yeah, here it is. Oh, well, this is going to help out a lot. There's a million to-do items in here. But yeah, okay, nice. So get this working. We should be able to take in weapons and pump out keys. And the key should go directly into the key store. Oh, I think I know what happened. I started working on the weapon grinder and then realized this thing should take in key storage. I didn't have key storage. So I think we ditched all that for a sec and went to make key storage. Yeah. So then we should have the scene here. As mentioned, this pipe technically shouldn't be there, but it's easy enough to chop that off later. So let's just ignore that for now. The rest of this stuff should all just kind of work as well. Yeah. Okay. Pretty reasonable. There is one other consideration I was thinking about, which is that the input point for this is on the top. And in the farm, skeletons walk above this. So it makes sense that they're dropping items on the top. But in the weapon shop, I wanted to put this thing over here, which means skeletons would approach it from beneath. So they're like throwing it into the weapon grinder. We could just put it over here, although that's way off in the middle of nowhere. I think putting it up here is better for the players so they can still drag keys into the chest that they want to put them in. Yeah. Okay. So then is it even worth considering that there should maybe be an input on bottom? I don't think so. I think if skeletons like throw it in, then it's fine. All right, so as mentioned, we need to make the weapon grinder. The extractor right now exists as part of... Actually, where does it exist? I don't even know where it exists. Is it in the town? It is. Well, would you look at that? So then the weapon grinder should also probably be there. So public weapon grinder. And we have create extractor. So let's go do this. Create weapon grinder. So we have an extractor scene. Did I put weapon grinder in here? I couldn't have because it's not modified. And this is in town. Is that where this exists too? Because if so, it's in the wrong spot. Where are you? You are in treasure. Oh, wow. Perfect. And I did not write this down? No, I did not write this down. Okay. Let's go plug you in. Weapon grinder. And you are in treasure. Is that right? Town/treasure. Town/treasure/weapon grinder. Yeah. And then technically this would have to move somewhere. But I think we have another treasure thing here, don't we? Yeah, we do right there. So I'll put this here. I think that's okay. All right, so that turns into... Actually, pretty much all of this stuff that says extractor is going to turn into weapon grinder. Weapon grinder. So let's just do that. Now, how does that work? We initialize this with the farm. That should be initialized with key storage, I think. Which means that create weapon grinder should get called from creating the key storage, which is exactly how creating the extractor works. Smart. Smart stuff. Good job past me. So we get the key storage, then we call create weapon grinder. Now this takes in a should fade in. What is that used by? Just whether you're loading the game or not. Should fade in is in create farm. Should fade in there is, yeah, if you're loading the game, then it's false. And create key storage does not have such a thing. Yeah, sure, fine. Should fade in. Except for we don't even fade this thing in, because I guess we have the smoke covering it. So we just don't do anything here. Yeah. So this is always going to be false. And we change this. And the rest of this hopefully looks good. We took in the key storage. That's great. Set the global position to the extractor position. We don't have such a thing. So somewhere here, there's an extractor position. Yeah, right there. And it knows to put it there. Yeah, so we're going to need to put this thing somewhere too. I guess it doesn't really matter how we do this. So let's just go make a key. No. Weapon grinder position. Yeah, so this is going to be weapon grinder position. Initialize that thing, add it to buildings. When you click it, you click the weapon grinder. And when you toggle it, you toggle the... Okay, so toggle the extractor needs to be modified. I got to write that down. Make sure toggle the extractor. Or wait, no, that's not even correct. Make sure toggling the lever actually works. All right. I think we're in good shape. Let's try this out. Does it build? It's question number 1. Question number 2 is, does it take weapons? And then what happens? I don't think it knows how to produce keys. I'm nearly positive I didn't code that. So we don't see a weapon grinder, which is a big mistake. But why? We also don't see an error message. So, oh, wait. Oh, it built it there. Oh, what are you doing there? Did I forget to change the position? I did. Okay, let's drag that up to here. All right, so that was the weapon grinder. It was in the wrong spot, and it doesn't have a lever by default, which we probably need to make sure the lever exists by default. Make the lever exist by default. All right, so we build this. There's our weapon grinder. Does it work? So we try dragging a potion in. It says the weapon grinder only accepts weapons. We try dragging a weapon in. It does not get highlighted and says the key storage is full. So need to highlight the weapon grinder when you're dragging a weapon, and the weapon grinder won't accept weapons even when it's first been built because it thinks the key storage is full. Okay, well, both problems we can solve. Yeah, I never changed the coordinates. Yeah. So thankfully I did now. Yeah, and we can't put these here. The item display doesn't accept that kind of item. Yeah. All right. Well, we will need to do this. But I'm going to take a break because this was one of the 2 things I had for today. The meta goals were don't complain about how much work there is, which so far we have not done, and try to take pretty regular breaks. And it's been about 1 hour of coding. It's been about 80 minutes of streaming. So yeah, I think this is a pretty good time for a break. So I shall be back. You can all play Jump Royale if you want to, or just, go take a break yourselves. Is it jump time? It's jump time. All right, well, let's close this. Close the game. I've taken my break. Hey, Golden Progs. All right. So we left off with this stuff's all done. You need to highlight the weapon grinder when you're dragging a weapon. So I think town has a get all locations thing, or highlight, or some like, oh, destinations, what we call it. Yeah. So there's an extractor. If the extractor exists, we want this to be the weapon grinder. And then to concat that. Cool. So that'll fix the highlighting problem, or at least it should. And it should know how to process those for which ones are valid. So if we build this and we try dragging a potion, it does not get highlighted. But if you try dragging a weapon, oh, it also won't get highlighted because it doesn't think it's going to accept anything yet. All right, so we got to fix the second problem then. It won't accept weapons when it's first been built because it thinks the key storage is full. So will accept is set to this. This is to see if any of these will accept. Ooh, that's not right at all. That's not right at all. Okay, so we need like a key storage can hold key. Oh, drat. There's a problem here. All right, let's just set this to true for now. But yeah, there's going to be a big problem here. The issue is that we don't know whether the storage can hold a key without knowing which key we're making, which means we need to figure the key out ahead of time, which means the player could potentially glean which key they're going to get. E.g., if there are two, if all storage spots are full, except for one, and that one isn't the key type you're going to produce, then you wouldn't get the key. All right. Maybe we need to change the design of this, but first let's try this out. So to figure this out, I have an idea. Maybe have one slot per key type. I don't think I like the idea, but now let's try this out. So now the weapon grinder should get highlighted, and I don't think it knows how to produce keys, so it'll never actually make a key. But as long as it's highlighted, that's all we're really testing right now. So I drag a weapon. Good, it's getting highlighted. We put a thing in there. Yeah, nice. And then if I try dragging this here, it doesn't work. And it'll just keep happily eating weapons forever. There is no way to stop this. Can't take armor. Yeah, I don't see any other weapons. Oh, there's one. Yeah, cool. So that'll just be it forever. So this is done. And now we need to solve this problem. So problem, there are four types of keys in the game, and there are 4 storage slots next to the weapon grinder. When stacking items, you may have a setup like this. Slot 1 is at key A, 3 out of 3 key A. Slot 2 is this, slot 3 is this, and slot 4 is this. So this can hold one more D key. Problem is that when you drag a weapon onto the grinder, you don't know which key you're going to get. If it were A, B, or C, it wouldn't have room and wouldn't let you drag the weapon. If it's D, then there will be room and will let you grind the weapon. So option 1 is show which key will be made next. Option 2, I guess, would be let you choose which key will be made next. Option 3 is decide the key for the player, but don't show them. And option 4 is only generate keys that will fit into your storage. The player can manipulate this to get whatever key they want. So this is a bad option. And option 5 is always allow generating a random key, and just don't worry about whether the key storage is full. Yeah. Random key. Yeah, that'll work. But then if your storage is full, so like let's say we're in this situation, so you can only hold another D key here. And let's say we randomly try generating an A key. There's nowhere for it to go because all your slots are full, or at least your A slot is full, I guess. So there's nowhere for it to go. So it either drop on the ground. Option 5A, it drops on the ground near the storage. Or option 5B, it drops into your warehouse if there's space. Hey, Tyrion, can they be dropped on the ground? They could be. What's going to happen is if a key drops on the ground right here, a worker is going to go pick it up. So like, let's say we have a free worker, and let's just imagine that instead of dropping over at the portal, it dropped over there. So your worker's going to see the key and come pick it up. And then, oh, they don't actually target the key storage. I wonder if we should do that. Do workers need to bring keys from the ground onto key storage if there's no chest? I don't remember what we decided here. Have them put it in the warehouse. Okay, just wait for destination. They shouldn't put it back in key storage. Suppose round robin is another option. Yeah, we could randomly decide the key or just pick the next key in line. So in terms of ease, this is definitely the easiest option, I think. This is the easiest option. Yeah. But what's the best option, I wonder? From a player's perspective, so I guess this all comes down to which keys we have, which I think I only settled on 3 of them. Did I write them down? I did not see this for loot rules. I never wrote it down. Okay, well, I definitely wrote it down over here. Or require room for all keys. Well, at some point, you've got to run out of room. So we could have dedicated slots for them all, but the slot shouldn't be able to just stack infinitely. I mean, I guess that is another option, but I don't think I'd want to do that. Allow keys to stack infinitely so that there's always space. What was I going to look at? Oh, yeah, over here. So we mentioned the different keys. There's like a -1 minute thing. Where is that? Did I not write it over here? Ah, here it is. Key 1, reduce time by 20%, reduce time by a minute, add loot. Oh, and there was a skeleton key, which is an immediate unlock. So we did plan for 4 keys. But I never wrote this over here. I never wrote this over here. 20%. Yeah, no, I never wrote it down. Okay, so I guess we got to write down, like, code the different keys. Oh, here it is. I wrote there should be 4 types. I just never wrote down what the types are. May I ask what editor you're using? I think you mean code editor. That's VS Code. This is Google Docs right now. But yeah, this is VS Code. How do you have 0 search results for the word skeleton? No, that had 2 search results, I think. No, 1. No, it didn't have any. Yeah. This is my to-do list, though, where I've tried to prune the other things that I have. So probably if we search for GitHub issues for skeleton, yeah, there are a bunch that shows up for. Yeah, that is pretty funny. All right, yeah, so the keys are Like type A is minus 20% time on the chest. Type B is minus 1 minute from the chest. I'll just say minus 1 minute. What is type C? Type C was, I think, like plus 10% loot. And type D is immediately open the chest. It's a skeleton key. Yeah, code editor. Yeah, that's VS Code. So from a player point of view, this is sort of intended to be kind of like a little mini game. Like you could keep chests around for longer if you know you're going to get more loot from them. Although maybe you find this key to just be worthless because it took you weapons to get the key. Maybe what we could do is we could say the more keys you use on a chest, the more loot you get. So it might behoove you to find the worst combination. I should probably write that down as an idea. We could have it be that the more keys you use, the more loot you get. That way you don't feel like it's a waste to get this key when it costs you weapons just to get it. I mean, there's only so much we can do with this, right? We can't have it be like math equations. Like if there's an even amount of time, then divide by 2. And yeah, it's like reduced by an absolute amount of time, reduced by a percentage. I don't think we can do anything more complex than that. Reduce it down to 0 no matter what. The plus loot thing is questionable. Also, when you apply a key, it should probably tell you what it's doing. Did I write that? No, I didn't write that down. Whenever you apply a key to a chest, there should probably be floating text telling you what the effect was. It'll probably be clear from the timer itself, though. All right, so let's just go through the options. It's easier to just evaluate one at a time. Show which key will be made next. So if you see, oh, I'm getting a skeleton key, is that really going to change your opinion on something? I don't think so. I think this will result in visual clutter. No key is really better than any other, except for the skeleton key. For the same reason listed above, you would just always want skeleton keys. So I think randomly producing keys is best. There could be different costs with them, but is it an interesting trade-off you're making? Like, let's say we only had 2 key types in the game. Key A is minus 1 minute on the chest, and key B is just immediately on open the chest. And let's say chests have a timer ranging from 5 to 15 minutes above them, after which they'll open with no interaction needed. Something like that. Again, I'm simplifying things. So if you see a 10-minute timer, you could just do nothing, and 10 minutes from now, it'll open. Or you could use 10 1-minute keys. Or you could use 5 1-minute keys and wait for 5 minutes. Or you could use one of these B keys that just immediately opens it. So the decision you'd make here, if you were allowed to choose the keys, if you could choose the keys, it mostly comes down to how impatient am I? Not entirely, though. There's town throughput to consider. Maybe you have no battles ending soon, so you want loot now. And maybe you can afford skeleton keys. If they cost more, then you'd just be spending more of your loot on opening the chest sooner. So again, it'd be like a throughput problem. I don't think it's interesting. I think that's pretty much the conclusion I've come to, is they should be random. So that doesn't solve our whole problem, but I do think keys should probably be random. And so how does this option feel? So I think this is a no. I think this is a no. Decide the key for the player, but don't show them. This will lead to weird situations where you can't drop a weapon in the grinder because you don't have space for the like secretly selected key. But as a player, you don't know that it selected that key. Although you could figure it out if you knew the generation rules. So I feel like this is strange, and as a result, we shouldn't allow it. Although, don't we have a problem over here then? Yeah. Problem with this is that workers will never stop bringing weapons to the grinder. There's no concept of it being full. So you need to manually manage it, which would probably not be fun. All right, well, that's not good because that means that there's no option that I like here. Oh, wait, there's an option that I didn't talk about here. Option 7 is generate a random key. Oh, wait, no, I did talk about this. Wait, didn't I? Yeah, that's option 4. Generate random keys until one won't fit, and then only generate the ones that will fit. Hey, hard work. Generate random keys out of the ones that will actually fit. E.g., they'll just fill all slots with anything and then have 1 out of 3 skeleton keys so that they only ever make skeleton keys. Why does it have to be difficult? Oh man. All right, well, there are other little things we can do, I guess. Option 7 could be keys effects are like all keys are the same until you use them. This way, all keys fill the slots, fill any slot where there's space. So in games where you can identify items, the items are technically not the same. They're just not identified. But like getting, wooden staff and another wooden staff, they look identical to you until you identify them. Then maybe they have different mods or something. That's kind of what I'm thinking about here. Like a key is just a key. It always looks like this graphic. And then once you, quote unquote, identify it or move it somewhere else or use it on a chest, then it turns into, I don't know where the key graphics are. I think here. Then it turns into one of the other ones that we have. So we have 6 key, we have 6 key graphics. I only plan on using 4 of them, the skeleton key and just 3 other random ones. I don't care. But I don't like that idea because I want the keys to matter. But we could... all keys spawn the same. All keys spawn as a single key type. Yeah, so option 7A is keys get a different type once they're used. Once you use them, I guess. Option 7B is we only have 1 key type. Maybe minus 1 minute. Yeah, I think I'm leaning toward this. Yeah, I think I'm leaning toward this. We only have 1 key type. And then what could happen is we could have perks that could potentially upgrade these keys for you. Or, you know what else I didn't think about? Option 8. There are a lot of options here. Basically option 4, but we don't let keys ever stack. So we always generate random keys, but keys are only 1 per display. So if there's space for key A, then there's guaranteed to be space for key B. How do I feel about this? I kind of like this. Okay, well, it's nice that we're brainstorming and exploring some of these options. So perks could affect how the key is used. It just probably wouldn't change the key graphic, which I think would be a shame. E.g., there could be a 20% chance on using a key that it automatically opens the chest, regardless of remaining time. Although what this would mean is that you're rolling, I guess it wouldn't, I guess let's just set this to like 5%, something like that. But that 5% chance would be when you go to open the chest. So now it wouldn't look like a skeleton key until you, well, it just would never look like a skeleton key. But I think that's a bad thing. I think you should be excited to see a skeleton key and be like, oh man, I just got a new chest. I'm going to save this for when I can open that specific chest. Although even that requires that your workers don't just take this out of your hands for you. Maybe the key stuff should be the lowest priority thing they do, or maybe there should be a way to control that. Probably should just be a way to control that. All right, so how fun is the key mini game? It boils down to use the largest time boost on the chest with the highest time. And then use the B keys on anything else. Is that fun? I mean, what's kind of nice is when you're manually playing, it's a pretty easy decision for you to make. Although I guess your workers would just be making the same decision automatically. I kind of like the idea of building up the loot that's inside. Like, while it's just a treasure chest, you could choose to almost inject loot into it. The problem is a balancing one at that point, because you don't get these keys for free, and you don't even choose which key you get. And if it's just always a benefit, then you're not even really making a decision there either. So I wonder if we just axe this idea. But then what are we using the key graphics for? Well, I was going to say, what if all keys have random mods? And the mods are some collection of reduced time by flat X seconds, reduce time by X%, increase loot by X%. I don't know what else it would even be. Yeah. Could be like add to gold inside the chest, like increase gold in chest by X%, increase sludge in chest by X%. I could make up some mods, but again, would this be interesting? Wouldn't you just pretty much always put the keys that increase the stuff inside of them into something with a high amount of time, and the keys that reduce the time into something with all the loot that you want to unlock? I don't think either of these is all that fun. I do like the idea of keys being different, though, somehow. At the most basic form, we can always have regular key and skeleton key, -1 minute and -100%. Yeah, that can always happen, and that's fine. But then, and like I said, this doesn't really matter, but we have 4 other graphics that are already drawn. So it'd be kind of nice to just use those. But even if we only ever stick to the golden key and the skeleton key, I guess that would be fine. These other keys, they need to have some effect, and I don't know what that would be. Maybe it changes rare item chances. Increase rare loot by X%. Or maybe like guarantee some number of rare items. Well, not even some number, like guarantee. No, I guess it's just pretty much the same thing here. Because I was thinking, like, what if here's what we could do. We could say the red key is going to guarantee a rare item or a rare weapon. The whatever this is, greenish key is going to guarantee a rare armor, and this is going to guarantee a rare potion. It could be kind of interesting. And we could even have this be the default key, and then this one could guarantee gold from it. And we could make a pink key that guarantees sludge. Could be kind of interesting. We could apply this for each key type. Guarantee rare weapon or armor or potion. Guarantee gold or sludge. So there'd be 5 key types for that. But is that fun? And also, how is a key changing what's inside the chest? That also doesn't really make sense. That's a minor concern. Because the way I think you need to look at this from a game design perspective is, how is this changing the player's decision tree? And it doesn't need to be by a lot for it to be fun. The garbage slime, I think, is the simplest example of that. The garbage slime has one mechanic, this hunger bar. As it goes up, you'll be offered more money. And you know that it goes up over time. So you just hover over this. It says 14 gold, 15 gold. It'll eventually say 16, 17, 18, and then maybe cap out there. So like you pick when you're dropping this thing off, and then it's hunger lower. So now it's going to offer you 11, and then the same item's going to give you 7, and then so on and so forth. This is one of the simplest little mini games that's in the game, if you think about it that way. And it's not a hard decision tree or anything, and it's still, I'd say, somewhat interesting and somewhat fun. So we could have the same thing going on with keys. It doesn't need to be too in-depth. It's not like playing a game of Fire Emblem where, yeah, all your moves matter, and maybe a character dies by the end of the battle if you don't manage things correctly. But yeah, I don't think something like this is fun. Reducing by a flat amount of time or reducing by X%. Because why make you do math to figure out which one's best? Is that interesting? Probably just isn't that interesting. So it all comes down to, do we increase the loot that's inside the chest? The difficulty with increasing loot inside the chest is that the keys themselves have a cost, since they took weapons to make, and you could have sold those weapons for gold. So if the key doesn't at least pay for itself, then there was no point making it. But that's not the only reason you're making keys. You're making keys because it's all going to speed up how fast you can open chests. So maybe you're making them with that as your goal, and every once in a while you get one of these unusual keys that's going to grant something special. Maybe this is just one of those things that we need a prototype, and that it's not ever going to be clear on paper. I can't definitively conclude that, though. Like, how would I feel if I got this in the game and I was like, oh man, this key guarantees me a rare weapon. So now instead of getting some like random little sword here, I get like the poisonous dagger of Kuile. Is that the Act 3 guy in Diablo 2? Anyway, you get some like unique looking thing. It's worth a ton of money, I guess. And I guess you're happy that you ground up a bunch of weapons to get that. The other way I could see this working is, there are a bunch of things that we don't have a plan to add to shops. So like a lantern, a candle, of, I don't know, these gem things. You could get those from these chests. Maybe it's like rare chance to get a trinket, and the keys can increase that chance. But then the trinkets need some function in the game. And that's kind of one of the core problems we had, is that none of these items really have a function. Although now that keys are a thing, it kind of adds another system we can poke at. Hey, Resco. Nice corn. Thanks. I like it a lot. And welcome in. We are pondering how best to make this treasure chest system work, and I am at a bit of an impasse just in terms of what sounds fun. So the basic idea, and let me go find, oh, I don't have those anymore, do I? Hang on a second, let me find this really fast. Treasure. I don't have the spreadsheet anymore. Okay, well, let me go find that. Give me a sec. Inland pictures, Super Metro World. All right, somewhere here it is, free chest. Okay, so I'm gonna copy the path to this. Add treasure room. Where are treasure chests? Here it is. All right, so there's a graphic. Now let's load this up in GIMP. So the idea is you find treasure chests and they have some time associated with them. So maybe you see something like this. Let's change this to 500 by 500. Center it. Okay, so yeah, maybe you see something like this, and we've got some text here, and it says 10 minutes. Okay, cool. I don't care about, whoops. I don't care about the font size or anything. So 10 minutes remaining on this chest. It'll slowly tick down. It probably should have written this out as a timer, and not like how I did. Is it too late? I don't know how to change this. Oh, there we go. All right, let's indeed shrink this. Okay, so you have a chest. It's got some amount of time remaining. And every time you put in the key, it can lower by like a minute at a time. So 10 keys and this thing is open, or just wait 10 minutes, or some combination of keys and minutes. And the question is, how much should keys matter here versus just having a simple, it's always just lower by a minute. It could be, okay, how about this? I didn't think about this. It could be that every key lowers the time by a minute. And then there can be special keys that do one extra thing in the process. Okay, that's not bad. I had not thought about this. I thought it was an either or kind of thing. How hard is it to get a key? So it's a little bit tough to say because the way that you get them is you put weapons into a weapon grinder and it spits out keys every so often. So weapons have a value. Let's say it's 50 gold. And chests contain loot, which has value. So let's say, I don't know, 500 gold or something like that. So like, how many keys do you get out of 100 gold worth of weapons? Like, I don't know. And also, you don't technically need any keys. But this is all balancing stuff. We can change how many keys you'd get out of this. So yeah, right now we have this concept of like, I'm just mocking this up, but here's a weapon grinder. And you would put in a weapon. So this thing's worth 18 gold. I put it in here. Maybe that spits out a key and puts it over here. So with it, for 18 gold, I just got a key that I can now use on a treasure chest, which I don't have in the game yet. But yeah, I really, really like this. I think this is a good idea. But then we still need keys to not stack if we're going to do this. Alternative, no, yeah, we need keys to not stack. Can I grind all the loot from one chest to open the next one? Yeah, you could, assuming they're weapons. You can only grind weapons. So imagine that this is what opening a treasure chest looks like. It won't be that much loot, but like there's a weapon, there's a weapon, there's a weapon. So we got what, 4, 6, 7? We got 7 weapons. The rest wouldn't be grindable because it's potions and stuff. And maybe some of this is eventually like a rare item with a function, I guess. So it's just a nice addition if you decide to do the extra work. Getting the key, I'm not sure what you mean by it, and it's a nice addition. Yeah, the key. Yeah, I guess so, yeah. Well, I don't know. This is why I just gotta like code the system and see what it feels like. Because if you have a 10-minute timer on opening a chest, you don't want to wait 10 minutes. And eventually you only have so many chests that you can hold at once. So you're going to start forgoing other chests because you haven't opened the ones you currently have. So it's going to be a matter of like, okay, well, now I got to start getting keys so that I can open these quickly enough so that I can optimize my chest usage here. So yeah, I think what I'm leaning toward is every key can reduce the time. Every once in a while you get a rare key. Yeah, let me just write down the conclusions here. In fact, let me copy paste all this stuff over to the design document where I explicitly wrote this out. So thinking about keys again, and we'll write out the date and this stuff. So my conclusions from this brainstorming session is every key by default is a regular key, which reduces the chest time by 1 minute. And then there's a chance that you get a rare key. Skeleton key would be automatically open the chest regardless of the time. And then like the red key could be increase chance of rare weapon by X%. Blue, I'm just making things up, right? Increase chance of rare armor by X%. This is rare potion. Gold key could be increase gold dropped from the chest. And the pink key could be increase sludge dropped from the chest. Hey, Caleb, how am I doing? There's a chat on screen thing now. Yeah, I finally put that up there. I'm doing well. I'm feeling pretty good. How are you doing? How was your weekend? You limited to a few keys per chest. I'd imagine that people would stack a lot of keys and then just fly through a lot of chests. The limit is going to be that each chest has an opening time. So that if every key is lowering that by 1 minute, and let's say a chest can have a maximum of like 15 minutes of time, then you could put in no more than 14 keys. Or I guess maybe you could put in 15 keys if you can get them fast enough. But yeah, that would be the limit. And that's if we keep it at 1 minute per key. We could just raise it to something like 3 minutes per key. And now it's a 5 key maximum. But I don't even know how much these rewards are going to impact this. Like, let's say you did manage to put in 15 red keys and now out pop like 5 rare items. Is that a problem? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. So we'll need to test this out. Is there a way to store keys? Yeah, there's a way to store keys. It's pretty much what you saw over here. So this is going to be the weapon grinder, and this is your dedicated key storage. So right now we have 4 key storage slots. So if I went and generated another key here, I could put them there, there, and there. And now I'm out of dedicated storage, but your warehouse also has storage, and you could put overflow keys in here if you wanted to. But I don't, this is another balance point. Like, we could allow you to store 14 keys if we wanted to. Every weekend was good. I played D&D and the GM prepared an awesome Kraken cutout. Did he color it himself? Let's see it. Oh, cool. I also see something in the background there. Did they make, is that a pillow? Or is it a bag? It looks like a bag. Shadow Dark. Man, I'm impressed people are using pen on these. Don't you have to modify stuff pretty frequently? Oh, is that a pencil? No. What's that on the back of this? I see like an eraser mark here, but this clearly looks like pen. It's a pencil case? Oh, the bag? Yeah. Oh, cool Kraken. Hey, Soli. Welcome back. Is your erasable ink? Yeah. Interesting. All right, so am I happy with this? Every key by default is just a regular key, which reduces the chest time by X minutes. And there's a chance you get a rare key. All of them will still increase or decrease the chest time by X minutes, but have 1 extra mod inherent to the key type. Yeah, so if all we start with are regular keys and skeleton keys, I still think this would be fine. But this goes back to the original problem that we had, which is what do we do when you run out of space. And I think it's that we don't let keys stack. But I talked about stacking in here before. Keys can stack like any other item, blah, blah, blah. Makes stacking better. Did I write this down here? Crafting recipe, where's the item stacking? Yeah. Where? Simplest, it doesn't. Anyone can carry the whole stack. When it comes to using them, carry only uses one at a time. For workers, this means they may be carrying 3 and use all 3. Also means that they can run out of chests to use them on. Oh, there are already special keys planned. Oh, make them disappear. Everything can already disappear too. But that's not really the problem right now. The problem is this machine can be operated by workers and it can be automatically done. So if you don't run out of space here, then your workers will just dump in every single weapon you'll ever get. So you will have a way of turning this off, but you probably won't want to manually manage that every time. So instead, just when the key slots are full, just don't generate another key. And I think that works, except for then we have a problem. Because right now, the other thing we have in the game is item stacking. So let's say we go build that. So now, 2 keys can be on the same slot, and they'll just stack. And by the way, does that do what I think it just did? Huh, it's changing the Y coordinate of that. That doesn't look right. Why is that happening? Huh, that always happened. Huh, indeed. Okay, well, let's take a picture of that. That looks like something we're probably going to have to change later. Figure out why stacked items are showing at a higher Y coordinate. This... No, we may not even have allowed for stacking keys, but it probably happens with other stuff. We're given it a timer for special keys before they need to be used. If not, turn into... Oh, so just to be clear here, the problem we're trying to figure out is specifically like you can automatically create keys, but if they're just going to disappear, you wouldn't want that to be automatic anymore. So should keys even be created in that case? And this comes down to sort of how you generate these. And I talked about like a whole bunch of options that we have here, but I think I'm leaning toward this one. I want to think about that a little bit more. So if we don't let keys stack, then item stacking needs to tell you that it doesn't work for keys, which may feel weird. We wouldn't have to address the difference between keys and all other items, where keys are still only used one at a time, even if you're holding many of them. Key storage would be at more of a premium. Workers would take longer to move the keys because they could only carry one at a time. This is actually kind of a benefit from a game design perspective. So would it be strange? I mean, maybe we end up splitting out item stacking and we say like potion stacking, armor stacking, weapon stacking, so it just never even seems like it should apply to keys. That could work. It's split out item stacking into the 3 different main categories of items: potion stacking, armor stacking, and weapon stacking. The nice thing is that the graphic for potion stacking would technically already be done because it already is a set of potions. Key storage being at more of a premium. This all depends on how many keys we expect you to have. I guess that's another thing I should probably think of, which is, should we aim for the player to have many keys that don't do a lot, or a few keys that do more? If we have more keys, then there's more activity moving them around from your workers. It would probably feel less impactful / fun for you to manually move those keys. I guess it's a trade-off. A trade-off of, do you want to just watch this happen, or do you want to be the one to plug keys in? So imagine a timer that says, hey, there's 15 minutes remaining, and we flood you with so many keys that each key is like -1 second. At that point, even if it wasn't clicking a key or any resource involved, it becomes a clicker game, right? You wouldn't want to just click, 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 60 times for it to go off by 1 minute. So now it's at 14 minutes minus whatever time it took you to click. So like, that's the extreme. We're definitely not doing that. And at the other end is, minus like 7 minutes per key. That's a huge benefit. And now you might think of, which chest do I use this on? The one that's like only got 4 minutes left, or the one that's definitely going to benefit from this? So it's definitely somewhere in between those two extremes. And I think -1 minute is a good, like, questionable starting point, because now it takes 15 keys to unlock that hypothetical chest, which implies you're getting a bunch of keys. I don't know. Let's just start with 1 minute and see. Should probably just start with 1 minute and see what happens. It means a 10-minute chest would take 10 keys. Yeah, maybe you can raise this time to 2 minutes or 3 minutes with perks. We have more keys and there's more activity moving. Okay, so I still haven't finished this one though. I do think I'm leaning toward just not having keys stack. Imagine needing 900 keys. Yeah, that would be terrible. And clicker games exist, but even clicker games, it's like a manual click might give you 100 of something, and the automated way might give you like 0.5 per second of something. So that you're essentially gaining 200 seconds every time you click. It's like, it's an order of magnitude different. And I don't want it to differ in Skeleseller, so I think we just need to balance it for you occasionally manually moving things. And I guess in that sense, it's pretty similar to giving items to the recycler. It's a marginal benefit that you do anyway because nothing else is happening, or because you want to be involved or direct the general flow of things. So I don't think it needs to be major, and I think 1 minute's a good starting point. So yeah, I think what I'm leaning toward is keys won't stack, which we need to specifically code. Player allow item stacking. Where do we do this? Max item quantity. Yeah, this would have to be split up per type. Oh man. Okay. Yeah, keys won't stack, so that we don't run into issues with you manipulating your storage to get specific keys. While still allowing storage to fill up completely. I wonder if there should be some kind of control in the game to make it so that your skeletons can take keys at all. Because what happens if you want to use this on a specific chest? I guess it all depends on what you're getting out of here. Either the weapon grinder has a really high cooldown. It always generates a special key, and the special key unlocks the chest immediately. Be a special event for the player, but you'd be pretty restricted on how it's used. Well, the weapon grinder is an item sync, so I don't think it can have a really high cooldown, unless you mean just on generating the special key. Because like you've still got to be able to drag all your excess weapons over here. Also, the other problem we're going to have with special keys is you have different kinds of chests. Still need to figure out how some of these keys will affect different kinds of chests. Maybe the chest itself shows the rarity breakdowns so that you can see them increase as you place keys into them. Oh, there's another potential problem here. Another potential problem is that you may increase the keys efficacy with perks, which would decrease the total number you can use per chest. Time reduction with perks, which may make it so that you can't get as many rare items out. I don't know. There's got to be a way to do this, and I think I know how we will, and I have some ideas for this stuff. But again, none of this is going to be clear without testing this and finding out what's fun. So the entire reason we even sidetracked into looking at this is, yeah, how will item stacking work with keys? And I think I concluded that it just won't. Yeah. Yeah. Once you have the treasure room, the item stacking perk should say, note this doesn't work with keys. We should probably eventually just split the perk into 3, 1 for each kind of item. Yeah. And then key types are here. So every key is going to do this thing. Where did I write that down? Here it is. So this is what we copy over to this. Code all of the different keys. Let's just put a reference link. And then say all keys will reduce the time by 1 minute. What loot you get? Yeah, something like that. Okay. All right. So keys don't stack is the next thing we'd probably have to code. But for now, we don't need to worry about that. We're always going to generate a random key. All right. So let's back up a step. So we need to stop item stacking from working with keys. Maybe have max item stack be a dictionary that has each item category in it. And consult that. Yeah, that makes sense. Going to We Are Developers Conference. Where is that? I'm not going, but curious where it is. We Are Developers. Berlin. Oh, I see. Hey, there could be a meetup. Adam Learns Live meetup in Germany. All right, so all of it was to be able to get this to do item addressed. Figure this out. So now we're done. So the issue is that we don't know whether the storage will hold a key without blah, blah, blah. So now all we need to figure out is, will key storage accept, does it have an empty slot? So to do, just check if the key storage has an empty slot. Item stacking shouldn't matter. We can all stand at an angle together. Wait, what is that in reference to? Oh, Leans. Oh, right. Yeah, Mr. Leans. Okay. I did not see your chat message before I came to that conclusion myself. I knew for sure that I should have been able to figure it out. All right, let's get it. Let's see. How do we your reason why item will not be accepted, upgraded. So we don't have a way of checking if there are any empty displays. Oh no, there we have it. Get occupied or empty item displays. Exactly what I want. So do we have something that just checks to see does it have an empty display? Storeroom. Get all, get valid item destinations. Does anything else call this maybe? No. Okay, all we care about is this. So can hold key is going to be the key storage dot get the non-occupied ones dot any. So if there is an unoccupied item display. And that's what's going to tell us whether it can accept a weapon. Perfect. Let's go try that out. We're going to have to fake our way through this a little bit because we don't actually have key generation in yet, but we do have weapon grinding in. So what we could do is we can make sure that the weapon grinder, so let's do this. Make sure that the weapon grinder will accept weapons infinitely. Yep. Unless you have keys on these. So if I put a key on every single one of these, well, I haven't put it on everyone yet. It should still accept this. Yeah, so if I put the final key on here and then drag another weapon, it will not work. Yeah, perfect. The key storage is full. So that's exactly what I want. Now, if we did move that key, which means I need money. So I put the key over here and now try dragging the weapon. It will work. Put the key back, try dragging a weapon. How do we drag a weapon? There. No, I want the weapon. Yeah, perfect. All right, cool. So now we should get key generation to work. Should be able to take in weapons and pump out keys. Keys should go into key storage. Yeah, so pump out keys. Let's get that part working. Turn in, try using accumulated value. Here it is. To do, this function needs to know how to generate multiple kinds of keys with different chances. I mean, not yet, it doesn't. Figure this out based on what types of keys we're generating and which ones we already have. So max keys we can give is going to be how many empty spaces we have. Which I already wrote this up here. So max keys we can give is going to be this. And then this is keys to give. That all looks good. Do not use enumerable methods on indexable collection. Oh, this doesn't return an enumerable? Oh, it's a list. Okay, fine. I didn't realize. Okay, this looks good. So now produce that many keys. So how do we make a key in the first place? I think I wrote this in the page up handler. Yeah, add items key. But this has to be add items specifically to the key storage, which I don't know if I've done before. So let's figure that out. So basically just, yeah, we need a for loop for this. Good. All right, so ignore that stuff. Now, how do we put this directly in the key storage? There should be some kind of add item here. There has to be. I think it's drop off item. And I think I wrote something somewhere in a markdown file about how to call this. Because we need to turn off the collision or something. Where did I write this down? Is there no mark? Oh, there it is. No, that's not it. It's close. Oh, come on. I just wrote this the other day. Where did I put it? It was some debug code to do something. I don't remember what. I guess if we just search for debug, we'd find it. Ah, man, fine. Let's look through all these. It's not this. It could be in cheats menu, but I don't think it is. Why did I even do this? I did this for the sake of the trailer. Yeah, I did it for the trailer. Can I just look at the trailer document that I have? Stopgap trailer. Hey, Elgo, how's it going? Oh, we're gonna find this. We are going to find this. Here it is. Debug add items directly to shop. Saving this as a reference since we occasionally want this for recording a GIF or something. Yeah, I'll write this in here so I don't forget, because this is where I looked for it, which means it's where it should go. Biggest takeaways, coding changes. Use this whenever you need to add items directly to a shop. Going well, glad to hear it. All right, so there's item was picked up and then drop off item. In fact, maybe that's why we broke the item stacking thing. I'm not sure. But yeah, that's pretty much what I want to do here. Okay, so we're going to create a yellow key. And then we're going to make the key storage just take it. Drop off item, and item was picked up. I think that's all we need to do. But this is based on some accumulated value, which is set to what, 50? All right, let's set this to 5. So what's going to happen is, let's say an item is worth 18 gold. That'll give us 3 keys and then 3/5 of a key. But the 3/5 is invisible. So we need something worth 18 gold. So we can test this out because that's the number I just said. All right, how much are you worth? 24. 18. Okay, good. Let's put this here. So this should give us 3 keys. Good. And then now we only need 2 more gold, which there's no weapon that only gives us 2 gold. So I guess what we'll do is this. We will drag this over here, here, and here. So we have an accumulated 3 gold. So if I drag another cane, it'll actually make 4 keys this time. There's the cane. Perfect. Oh, that's good. Okay. Yeah. Cool. We can generate keys. Neat. All right. So this would probably go back up to 50. Probably even more than that. If weapons are ever worth like 500, then you're just going to max out all your keys very quickly. And I guess, I don't know how this is going to work. Yeah, I don't know how we'll balance this. I think it's going to be very difficult. Because let's say 100 gold, or like weapons totaling 100 gold generates 1 key. The chest needs to be worth like 6 keys worth, more than 6 keys worth, or else you wouldn't generate keys. So now you get like 1,000 gold of stuff out of a chest, which means you could probably max out your key production pretty quickly. I don't know how we'll balance it. I mean, we have some knobs we can tweak here, but it's still difficult to figure this out. We could also pivot this so that, oh man, I don't know. Like, I guess maybe all that matters now is I have ideas for how we can address this, but I won't know what's best until we see this in action. So as an example, we could add another time mechanic here, and we could say every 1 minute, the weapon grinder produces a key. And then you can speed this up by adding weapons. But this is a very roundabout way of getting this thing to work. And we're using pretty much the same time mechanic for opening chests as we do for getting keys. And I don't think we need both of those. So then we would probably change treasure chests so that they all require some number of keys to open. We would change chests if we did this so that they require some number of keys to open. So each key could say 33% chance to open the chest, and then it could have a random modifier too, like plus X% chance of rare weapons. Maybe this is the better way of doing things. I think if we did this, you'd want many different weapon grinders, right? But then you need to toggle them all on. Maybe you... Oh man. This is rough. This is rough. I like the ideas here, but if we want a weapon sync, then we need the grinder idea to exist. Otherwise, nothing is destroying your weapons. But I don't know if we do need that. I guess your weapon shop shouldn't be the end-all be-all of how you get rid of weapons. All right, let's still continue along this path for a second here. Why exclusively weapons? It just made the most sense of like what would become keys. And we already used potions for something. Yeah. But that part, I guess, isn't the important part. The if we want a weapon sync was mostly just if we want an item sync. Whether or not it's weapons, I don't think is super important. But I want to think about this for a little bit longer here. So, let me say chests and timers. You don't have to have chests be the thing with the timer counting down. Doesn't make a ton of sense anyway. Although the treasure spirit was a humorous way to connect the timer to the actual opening mechanic. We could have the weapon grinder be a key machine or key producer that pumps out keys every so often. And each key has an X% chance to open a chest. Then you would speed up key production somehow. It can't be an X% chance to open a chest. Problem with a flat chance to open a chest is that chests differ from one another, and late game chests may be harder to open. So we need keys to have like opening points or opening power, and each chest to have a higher amount needed. That would work. It just wouldn't go. This is essentially the time mechanic, but without automatically counting down. Like that's all the time mechanic was. Hey, this chest requires 600 seconds. So yeah, you could just wait it out, or you could decrease that opening amount with a key to have a certain amount of opening power. But what does this do? How did I get to this point? Oh yeah. Yeah. So I think there could be a problem balancing key production. Chests don't necessarily require keys, but in order for making keys to be worthwhile, the weapons it takes to make the keys need to be worth less than the loot you get out of the chest. And yeah, this balance is probably really hard to strike correctly. The key costs 100 G of weapons, but the chest produces like 1000 G of stuff, then it may not really feel like a cost. I think I'd still steer toward just doing this system and then figuring out what that should be. Like, one of the things in playing Skeleseller already that I've learned is if you have the farm and the fishing pond and you turn this lever on, now workers will automatically bring potions. So if I just do this, so workers will automatically bring potions here, and if I turn it off, then they won't. They'll bring it to the shop. By turning this on, you actually do kind of lose a lot of money. So if you are aiming for money, you should have this off so they just bring it to the shops and sell these things. Use the weapons to smash it open. The weapons can do some damage to the crystal. Are you talking about like what's the lore reason for using weapons? Because I think the idea of you just grinding them into keys works already, but also given that you already would have grown accustomed to the extractor giving you both seeds and fish eggs out of your potions, which again, like maybe that makes sense, maybe it doesn't. All your potions are filled with fish eggs and various plant seeds. No wonder they were so grainy. They're all going to harvest this one carrot. All right, I think we need to try this first and see what happens. Conclusion, I think we need to try the way that was planned first with the weapon grinder and see what happens. With the extractor, the hit to potential income was definitely felt. Just find it weird. The keys don't just open the chest and there's a time limit. So I don't know if you heard the other part of this. You get a treasure room and it's run by a sentient treasure chest. The reason chests take time to open is because the sentient chest is convincing the other chest to open, and you're using keys to speed that up. So there is a goofy lore reason for this. But if you didn't have the lore reason, I think what we need to say is it's like a chance that you find the right key and you consume it in the process, in which case I guess they'd be more like lockpicks than they would be keys. Can I consume armor to just make hats for everyone? We gotta probably add in a way to consume armor, because otherwise you're gonna end up with way more armor than everything else. And I have some ideas, but yeah, I think we're just gonna hit this problem and then need to solve it and apply one of those ideas. Yeah, so keys are a way of convincing it. Anyway, not super solid. I think we need to code some of this. I think that's the other thing I realized here is like a lot of this is abstract. It's hard to point at what's currently happening and what the problems might be. So let's just kind of explore this and see what happens. So where did this part come from? This is working. This is working. We got to stop item stacking. What is max value allowed? Code this to use key storage. What is this? This is how much you could possibly put in. Why do we even use that though? Max seed value allowed. I don't even know what this is. The maximum item value that the pond can currently accept. What is it used for? Oh. I see. Okay, I see. So we need to get the key storage dot how many empty displays there are. Get occupied false dot count times item value per key. something like that. Why is this a problem? Oh, because I never checked if this thing even exists. Why is that needed? Goodness. No, this requires that the key storage exists, so we don't need to do a question mark there. And then this isn't a problem anymore. So now is this being used? It is. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. Hey, Simon. Opinions on unpaid internships. As a potential intern or as a potential employer? Because in a lot of places, if you're talking about from the employer perspective, it's not necessarily legal. Some places don't allow unpaid internship, which itself should probably tell you the opinion from the intern side of things. So the way I kind of look at it is, I think experience is valuable, but money is also valuable. So I agree with the not ideal response from Magnetic Bind. Like, if you can get paid, it's great. So a question is like, is the internship gonna propel you into getting to the point where you're just earning money? And I think that's highly subjective. It's based on what industry we're talking about here, what country we're talking about, how many jobs there are in the area you're looking for. So I don't think it's a definite, like, just never do it. But I think that equation needs to make sense for you. So yeah, obviously, if given the choice between a paid internship and an unpaid internship, I think like steer toward paid internships. At least then you're definitely getting something, because there's no guarantee that the unpaid one is even going to be valuable for you. You might think it is, and then they give you a really bad project. In Portugal, it's quite common. I see. Yeah. Yeah, that's the other thing too, is if it's common, then enough people must have decided that the system works, from the government down to employers down to interns. So yeah, hard for me to say otherwise. All right, so we've got this thing, load from save data we need to do. Yeah, make sure we save/load this correctly. This can just be a cleanup item down here. But in my second year at university, computer science, wanted to do something. My uncle knew this company where they'd offer the unpaid internship and gave them my CV. To be fair, I didn't consider it a lot because I was so locked in my finals. I just accepted the job. Well, I will say this. Second year in computer science, I don't know if you have another opportunity that seems better, but you could always try it if it's just, what, for the summer or something. And then if it turns out to be a terrible experience, you could just not do it again or ask for pay. Yeah. Because what are we talking here? Like 2 months, 3 months? I don't think that's such a long time that it's going to like drastically alter the course of your life. And it'll give you the knowledge of whether you should do this again in the future. Okay, so we got to do this stuff. Build this when you build the key storage. We did that. Make sure we save and load it correctly. Yeah. All right. How are we doing on time? I should probably take another break, but we're okay to do a little bit more before lunch, I think. Yeah, that's another good question. Will it count toward college completion? Because when I was in school, we technically needed some amount of internships, although I think all of mine were paid. But I don't think I could have graduated if I hadn't done them. All right, so weapon grinder, this is all looking fine. I have no problem with the scene that we had here. We have the weapon grinder we created. This is good, 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 good. This needs to be changed. I gotta say, to do, get the lever working. So when we get the lever working, we need this. Town has toggle lever, which is commented out. Need to get that working. Hey, Hepta. 2 months, 40-hour weeks. Yeah. I mean, I think it could potentially be worth it. Like you said, it's pretty common in Portugal. I don't know much other than what you've said to me about this. And your uncle knew someone involved. And then, yeah, like I said, just keep an eye out. If next year you're like, oh, I really didn't like that, or I could have really used the spending money or something like that, then yeah, seek out a paid internship. Hey, Kevin. Okay, all this other stuff is looking fine. This is all going to need to be here eventually. We also have accumulated value, which this being yellow worries me. Is it because I just accidentally removed an accessibility modifier from this? Probably is. Anything else? Save data is not working. That's fine. Lever's not working. That's fine. This is in the wrong spot. This isn't. Yeah. That's all okay. Now, what's this? These are how to generate multiple kinds of keys. We haven't done that yet, so let's just delete that. Yeah, nice. Okay. Yeah. Wow, look at that. All right. I am feeling pretty good about this. Yeah, nice. Okay, so get the, or like create the weapon grinder. It can produce keys when you give it weapons. All right. This is somewhat difficult work because I feel like sometimes you can completely compartmentalize work. So you can say like, this is coding work or this is game design work. We can't do either one here. Well, I guess we can kind of say whether something's game design work, but the coding work is not just let's go code this whole list of things I did. There's certain problems I just didn't think about at the time. And then once we start coding, I realized like, oh yeah, how are items going to stack? And how's that going to work with generating keys? And we need to go back to the drawing board, but we don't know for sure that the ideas that I come up with are going to be great. So we're slowly getting there. But yeah, I think it's break time again, and then we will get this stuff working. And I'm hoping by the end of the afternoon, we actually have treasure chests that you can start to open. Because then we can maybe finish a lot of this stuff this week. At least finish to the level that playtesters will be able to try this out. Maybe I would have chosen to work on some personal projects. I mean, it's not too late. There's no, I'm assuming, there's no agreement that it's so set in stone that it's like, well, I said no and now I owe them money or something. You can probably still bail out if you want to. Now I'm taking a lunch break. On the topic of unpaid internships, I think they should be outlawed. To add insult to injury, in Spain, companies that get interns can get tax deductions for it. So they're like extra incentivized. All right, we're going to take a quick break. Is it jump time? Computer, is it jump time? Computer, what are you hearing? There's a jump time. I ask, is it jump time? It's jump time. Hello again. Close the game. Hey, Jules. Okay. So stop item stacking from working with keys. Maybe have max item stack be a dictionary that has each item category and consult that. Yeah, let's go do this. So just to be clear, the idea that keys will not stack. Actually, we could wait until the end. Yeah, let's wait until the end for that. But still, the idea that keys won't stack is so that we can just generate a random key and not worry about things. Whereas if we allow them to stack, then we might generate a key that has no space for it, or we might generate a key that you're guaranteed to have space for, and then the player can start manipulating how they get keys. Although, yeah, you could, yeah, and I don't want them to do that. So this is the only reason we need that. All right, next up, make sure toggling the lever actually works. Let's go try this out. So how about we change instance data for a second so that instead of, no, not this, all instance data. So instead of small blue potions, this drops canes. And that way we can just right click the grant items button. And then what am I doing here? I am making the lever work. So we need toggled lever here to do something different. So what does it do right now? Drop off item, toggled extractor. And what does this do? Need to be able to preempt workers that are going to a valid location when its higher priority location opens up. So this is get the item. If they don't have a target, don't bother setting one here since they'll get it normally. And then if they do have an item, check to see if it's a target, if it's an item machine, and then either change it to it or change from it. I'd love to have this be a generic thing that we can do. And I don't see why we couldn't. In fact, toggled extractor is just called toggled extractor for no reason. It's toggled item machine. So all we need to do, all we need to do is just rename this the toggled item machine, right? And then rename this to toggled item machine. Man, I'm glad I wrote this way. And then we just do one of these. Whoops. Toggled item extractor. All right. Not bad. Now, is that in the right order that we did things? Yeah. Cool. So now we need the lever to work on the weapon grinder itself. There's a bunch of code in here where this doesn't work. So to do, consider whether this should even be shown by default. Yeah, I think it should be shown by default. Should it be on by default, though? I don't know. And should there be an NPC here that tells you how you use this? I gotta add that in if I don't already have that. Do I have NPC written here? Add an NPC to the treasure room. Should I add an NPC to the key grinder? I probably should add an NPC to the key grinder area. They should tell you that the grinder works sort of like your extractor. Maybe they shouldn't tell you that. Yeah, they should just tell you how the grinder works. If a variable is preceded with an underscore, is it a private member? Yeah. Yeah, that's a C# convention. It does not actually dictate that something is private. It's just conventionally private. Okay, so lever is on, should probably be in the base class. What is this? Show extractor lever. Wait, nothing uses this? What is this? Oh, nothing calls that specific one. But why do we do this way? Because they all have levers? Yeah. Is this cursor? No, this is VS Code. Makes things private in GScript. Yeah. But in C#, it's just a convention. Instantly changes naming rule to just lowercase. Yeah, I know. We've talked about this on stream before. I find that it's not a productive conversation. If you like the convention, stick to the convention. If you don't like it, don't stick to it. That's the nice thing about conventions, by the way, is like, let's say you wanted to write all of your code in capital letters and you wanted like int counter equals 0. Like nothing stops you from doing this. And then if, counter is greater than 1. And if you don't like that as a convention, then yeah, just don't use it. I feel like where things could be more productive is if you were, I don't know, like a normative body. Maybe you're a standards setting, I don't know, like the IEEE or something like that, or you're the creator of the language, then I think it's worthwhile. Okay, so this is only used in the extractor side of things, right? Show extractor level. All caps, including if, for, etc. Yeah, put some macros, preprocessor, redefine all your if statements. I void const. It's literally only used in 2 spots. Yeah, when you unlock this thing and when you load from a save file. Account created July 6th. Okay, goodbye. All right. So I think having this in the base class is a worthwhile idea. So let's put this here. This will go into item machine. The lever itself was an item machine, right? Yeah, nice. Okay. So I think this is pretty reasonable. Have you tried Cursor or Windsurf? No, I haven't tried either one. I do use Copilot with VS Code. But I assume that if you're using Cursor that you're probably like really leaning on AI. Whereas I'm like, I wouldn't say leaning, sort of benefiting from AI just here and there. All right, so show extractor lever is now there. So this doesn't need to exist here, and this doesn't need to exist here. And it should still work with the code. Yeah. Any other lever related stuff that we have? No, that's pretty much it. Okay, so let's try this out. It should just function. We should be able to turn on the lever for the weapon grinder and have workers bring all their weapons there and form keys out of them. So if I do this, well, I need the weapon grinder first. So there's the lever. Click to turn on, which will make workers prioritize bringing potions. Okay, that's wrong. Tooltip's wrong. Yeah, should just function. It will. Tooltip for the weapon grinder's lever is wrong. Needs to say weapons. All right, but beyond that, if we were to just generate some weapons here, so there's a cane, the worker's going to pick it up and just wander around. But then if I turn on this lever, nothing happens. Wait, are they walking over there? Oh, they are. Nope, they're not. Okay, yeah, nothing happened. So why did nothing happen? That is a great question. And this should be getting hit. So if I toggle this off, it's not getting hit at all. What? Oh, because we don't listen to... No, we do. What? I ask again. Is this not being hit? How would that even be possible? Toggle lever. This is inside item machine. On lever toggle. Is this getting hit? Yes. So we call into this, which calls into this, which then did nothing. Because I don't know. Huh. That's bizarre. Yeah, that's bizarre. Why is that not working? Does it work when I toggle the extractor? I don't even have a lever there. There we go. So that gets a hit. Something weird is going on. Is toggle the item machine null? I don't know what's happening right now. There's no error. This looks like it's connected still. When you enter the drop-off item state is when we listen for this thing. I'll put a breakpoint there, and I guess we'll just restart this. So I build this. We click this thing. That gets hit. Oh, the worker doesn't have an item. So that doesn't really matter yet, I guess. But if we do this, then they pick that up. It should get hit immediately. Yeah. Good. So now this is connected. Now we just need to toggle this. Weird. Very weird. I don't know what's going wrong. This is so basic that I don't know how I'm missing something here. We call toggled lever, which then calls into this, which calls into toggled item machine, which we have a listener for right over here. And we already knew that it listened for it, unless we left the state, which we shouldn't have left. And that's the only stuff where this can change. I guess let's put a breakpoint there. And let's go test out. We'll put this. Why did that get hit? Okay, so now they lost the thing. It doesn't know it's a valid item destination, maybe? No, it's not even being called. I'm still confused by this. Okay, well, when they're wandering around, they need to check to see if there is a thing that they can do here. Worker wander. Find item source. Item source function. What is this? Find ground, find warehouse. Okay, so find warehouse. Get random actionable warehouse display. So get an occupied one, get valid item destination for entity. Oh, there's nothing here that says the, okay, whoops. All right, well then let's do this here. A weapon grinder will accept item, return that. I guess we need to test to see, is there anywhere else that the extractor shows up that the weapon grinder needs to? Nope. No, yeah, that's it. Item action menu. We got to do that too. All right, so that probably was enough to fix this. I think. I'm just not certain why we wouldn't have hit that that function. I build this. I click this. We get a worker here. I don't care about these breakpoints anymore. Now we toggle the item machine. I don't care about this breakpoint anymore, or that one. Did they go to the machine? They do. All right, well, whatever. Cool. So they put 36 gold worth into there. When they put one more cane in, it's going to generate a key. Let's speed this up. There it is. There's our key. And it just appears. We should probably have it fly in, which we could do pretty easily, because drop off item lets us take in a position. Yeah, location. And the location is going to be, I guess, like the side of the weapon grinder. Maybe, let's just have it be the position of this thing. Yeah, that'll look okay. And now, what else did I think of? I thought of something as I was doing this. Oh, what was it? Something when I was looking at the extractor. So I guess let's just hope that I can remember what it was as I look through this again. Oh yeah, item action menu. Whew, okay. Yes, that's already written down. Good. All right, so this is done. This is done. This is all working. The tooltip is wrong. So it says potions somewhere. Not that one. We just got to find the word potions. Where is it? There it is. The machine name only accepts potions. All right, is this just miscoded for the weapon grinder? Oh, yeah. Oh, no, it's not. It says it only accepts weapon. Oh, it's the tooltip on the lever. That's why. It's right here. This is wrong. Click to turn on, which will make workers prioritize bringing potions to the machine name. And click to turn off, which will make workers ignore the machine name. So we just need to have this be item category. And is there a way to do that? No. And lever is not even a derivable class. VS code theme. Hey, Simon, I've got commands for practically everything. I think theme is the one you want. Yeah. So it's visual. It's Atom, one dark, vivid. And if you're ever curious about more commands, you can always use this website and just go searching through them. I'm not saying don't ask me questions. I'm just saying if you wanted to find the answer to probably almost anything that a new person would ask in here, we've got plenty of answers on that site. But I don't mind if you ask and I end up typing a command name or something. That's also fine. All right. So the tooltip. Lever knows what machine it belongs to. No, it only knows the name of the machine it belongs to. And when we make this, we tell it the machine name. Yeah, so we could just tell it the item category too. In fact, why do any of this? Why not just give it a localized string for its on tooltip and its off tooltip? That probably makes more sense. Rather, because does it need another machine name in any other place? We save it, and then we only pass it into the localized thing. And while this is public, I don't think anything uses it. Oh God, this does? Why does this use it? Does the machine not know its own name? Are you kidding me? Where is this thing? The item machine passes this in to not save it anywhere other than the lever. But even that's only done for the sake of for the sake of an error message here. What? What? Yeah, I think we need to change this. Does it work in YouTube as well? It does, but it freezes my video for a little bit because I never multi-threaded it. So if I say something like check out the keyboard command and then turn my head slowly, it should freeze me. Yeah. But yeah, it did run it on YouTube as well. All right, so how do I want to change this? Do I want to just pass in tooltips here? Item was dropped off to whatever, but was not accepted. Won't we always know what kind of thing this was because of what item type it was? I wonder what prints out when you write this. Do we have a toString on item? Oh, we do. Quantity and display name. Okay, yeah, the display name should be enough. Because it'll be something like wooden sword, and you'd know from the name, oh, that's a sword. Or it'd say like small blue potion. And again, you know from the name. Nothing should be ambiguous. You might have other games where you have like Sun Fury and you don't know what it is. Is it an armor? Is it a weapon? But like we control all that, so we can just tell what it is. So I don't think we need this. It was dropped off to an item machine, is what we'll say. But was not accepted. Now we have stack trace anyway. That should probably help too. I also don't know how this is even possible. But next is to get the lever to not take in a machine name, I think. So that we can change that. I think we'll do that in a different commit. It might be Matt. Who knows? Fiery flip-flops. All right. Revert that. Show extractor lever removed. This technically shouldn't be checked in. Okay, so we got to be careful about this now. Yeah. All right, let's do that and that. No, wait, no, this one. Because we don't want to check in this just yet. But I think everything else we want. Didn't I change something else? I did. I made it so that the items spawn out of the middle of the weapon grinder, and then I don't think I ever tested that. So we should probably go test that. Looking good, looking good. Okay, something's wrong. Oh, no, there it is. How did I not do that? I mean, this is correct. I didn't mean to skip it. Okay, let's try it out. The thing that we're testing here is something pretty minor. When you drag enough weapons to the weapon grinder, the key will now spawn out of the weapon grinder. It used to just appear magically on one of these displays. So we'll just turn this on, we'll add a bunch of workers, and we'll add a bunch of items, and we should see it happen. So again, we're looking somewhere in this general area, a key should pop out. And it's only when they bring 50 gold worth of weapons, which no one's even holding a weapon anymore. I guess let's add a bunch more workers. Yeah, nice. They're definitely going to do it now. All right, eyes on the prize. Nice. That looks pretty cool. I think it showed the little item shadows too high up. In fact, are these too high up? How would I even tell? No, they're not too high up. Okay, so we're going to say add lever to weapon grinder. It's off by default. It exists, but it's off by default. Yeah, nice. Lots of to-do items deleted. All right, then this commit is going to be spawn keys from the weapon grinder. They used to just magically appear at their destinations. And now we need to fix the tooltip. And as mentioned, I think what I want to do here is just have an on tooltip and an off tooltip. And it'll get a localized, what am I even looking at? And it'll get a localized thing. So the lever won't need any localization itself. It will just blindly pass in a tooltip. And we just save these here. And we can make this private, I guess. Private string lever is off tooltip. And I guess set that like that. And lever is on tooltip. And then taking both of those tooltips in init. String lever is, it should just know how to fill in the rest. Yeah, nice. We don't need the machine name. We don't need any of this other stuff. Sometimes AI is not great. So delete that. And then set these things. So machine name doesn't exist anymore, right? Yeah. So get turn off tooltip. This is not how we're going to do this. If it's on, then we use the lever is on tooltip. And if it's off, we use the lever is off tooltip. So now we delete these. Okay. Now to go. Why is that happening? Why can't I type a P? All right. Now we go plug these into somewhere else. I don't know where the somewhere else is. Yeah, we need this stuff. All right, so item machine now needs to initialize these things. Okay, yeah, let's go get that. Why does it say that that is... Oh, I see. Sure. Looks good. Pass these in. And now where is this initialized? It should be two places. Yeah, very easy. Okay. So we just had get extractor name. We're going to put these things over there. Where art thou? Oh, actually, this one isn't even... Yeah, whatever, it doesn't matter. Extractor. Okay, so turn on tooltip. Click to turn on, which will make workers prioritize bringing potions to the... I mean, I guess the machine name doesn't even need to be like this, but it's fine. And then click to turn off, which will make them ignore it. That sounds good. And now we can do the same thing for the weapon grinder. Click to turn on, which will make workers prioritize bringing weapons to the machine name. Sounds good. And now we're just changing it. So this is going to be messages.get turn off tooltip. Is that what that's supposed to be? Yeah, something like that. And then messages.get extractor name. And messages.get extractor name. All right, then we just plug this exact same thing into the extractor. And we delete the extractor name because it's actually machine name or something. Extractor name. Yeah, this is supposed to be machine name. Get machine name. And as long as we're replacing that, we might as well replace it over an item machine too, or an extractor as well. It's actually technically correct already. It says get extractor name, but still, let's just call it machine. There. All right, that should build. If you say it with enough confidence, the machine has to listen to you. I messed something up. There. Get valid for the machine name. Is that all we have to do? I think that's it. Nope, one more problem. This should still be machine name. Okay, now it'll work. Just smash my water bottle on my desk. All right, so how do we test this? We try... No, we don't do anything. We just hover over this. Click to turn off. Okay, so this is backwards. Item machine takes in the on one first. Lever is off. Okay, we should rename this because this is stupid. This should be turn off tooltip, which means that the lever is on. Unexpected null. Hey, Goose. Happy Monday to you and all of your Goose family. What'd I call this? I just had a name for it, and I already forgot what the name was. What was it? Lever off? It's whatever I said in here. Turn on tooltip. That's what I want. Turn off tooltip. And then turn on tooltip. And then there's one other place we need to do this, which is in lever. And then reverse these things if we wanted to reverse them. Turn off tooltip. Turn on tooltip. And now these are backwards if I'm not mistaken. Where is the part where I can check to see if I'm mistaken? Here it is. If it's on, then we have the turn off tooltip. If it's off, then we have the turn on tooltip. All right, kind of minor, but this will read correctly now. So let's see. Click to turn on, which will make workers prioritize bringing weapons to the weapon grinder. Click to turn off, which will make workers ignore it. Okay, good. And what about the extractor? We don't have the money. We don't have the lever. Okay, click to turn off, which will make workers ignore the extractor. Click to turn on, which will make workers prioritize bringing potions to the extractor. Yeah. That's right. Up is off, down is up, down is off, and on is on. And now we are done with that, I think. Looks good. Yeah, cool. All right, fix weapon grinder tooltips. It was using the one from the potion or from the extractor. I made it so that lever just takes in the on and off tooltips without knowing the machine name itself. I can see this going either way. I'm not going to recode this because it is just not worth the effort. But we could have passed in the machine name and then what kind of item it accepts, and then formed a localized string based on that. So, yeah, not a big deal. Yeah, not a big deal. I had to kind of convince myself it's not a big deal. We are duplicating a string now. So this is fine. And now make sure we save and load this correctly. Yeah. So how do we save the extractor? We have extractor save data. So we need a special piece of save data for this. And in this case, what does extractor save data look like? A dictionary of accumulated values, item value to be turned in, and is lever toggled on. All right. So now we want a weapon grinder save data. And we're going to take in just a single accumulated value. There. Cool. All right, so now we change it. Whoa, why is that red? What happened here? Why is this on two different lines? What? What in the world? No, that must have been before I reloaded. Okay, never mind. Yeah, I must have accidentally just pressed enter or something. All right, this should be pretty easy to fix. Get save data working, remove that. So this is going to be new like this. Actually, we do need parentheses there. And we need the accumulated value. Good. Now load needs a change. Code this. Sure, delete all that stuff. Show indicator light. If you've got the thing, then show the lever. The lever is always going to show. Lever.load from save data. That's going to be a thing. This technically can't be null. Ooh, yeah, it's not null. Why did the extractor work that way? Show extractor lever. Oh, I see. If you, because you don't have the lever by default. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. All right, then for each destination, blah, blah, blah. We're not doing any of that. We're just setting this equal to save data.item value to be turned in. That's not correct. Oh, okay, hold on a second. We need to do accumulated value plus equal save data.item value to be turned in. Yeah. But we need to also add in this. So it's actually save data.accumulated value. Let's say values. No, that's wrong. This needs to be weapon grinder save data. Then we delete all of that. Then set fishing pond. That's not a thing? Is that a thing? Extractor might not have had the fishing pond. No, I think that's fine. And then try using accumulated value. That's also fine. All right, now something needs to call this. So load from save data. The extractor has one of those from somewhere. Yeah, here, if the farm save data. So what we need is the key storage thing. And then we set the weapon grinder load from the weapon grinder save data, which I never added to the town. Cool. All right, there we go. Let's try it out. Okay, so we're gonna put in a couple of weapons and then hit save, and we should see the accumulated value make it into here. So how about this? Let's just drag this cane, 18 gold. So I put it into here and I save. And now we don't do anything else. Let's just quit. Now I go load that up. And we should see the weapon grinder somewhere. It's null. Okay, that's bad. The reason why it's null is because I forgot to save it. Yeah, whoopsie doodle. There's somewhere here. There's the extractor one. There it is. Yeah, so I want the weapon grinder one. Yeah, I outright forgot to save it. Upright. Okay, let's try that again. Run it back. Click there. Grant an item. Click a cane. Drag, save. Let's quit. All right, now where's my save data? There it is. Weapon grinder. Nice, look at that. Accumulated value 18. Item value to be turned in 0 is lever toggled on false. All right, so now let's test out some different scenarios here. We should be able to save with this thing on or off. So if I load the game, it knows I had 18 gold there. I'm going to put 24 more gold. So now I'm at 42. I'm going to turn this on and then save. Load the game. It should still be at 42. So now whatever item I drag, it's going to make one key. And there's the key. I don't know what you're talking about batting off. But this sounds like one of those generic internet questions or a hypothetical I don't plan on discussing here. All right, so I think we've saved this correctly. The only thing I haven't tried is what happens if you have an item going to the extractor at the time. What's our... Actually, if I just load here. All right, let's try that. Okay, now I need to save. And now the save data should have... Yeah, item value to be turned in 18. So as soon as I load this, it's going to make a key. Perfect. Yeah, nice. Nice. All right, so I think this is ready. Yeah. Should we save and load this correctly? Yeah, cool. see the smile that indicates I'm lying. I don't know. I've heard the will you fight a gorilla or like 100 duck-sized horses sorts of things before, but I've never heard your specific question and don't know what the latter choice is. All right, weapon grinder save data, lever toggled on. This looks good. Yep. Okay, cool. Wow. All right, save and load the weapon grinder. Cool. Why C#? I guess you knew the language beforehand. I did know the language beforehand, but there. Okay, I guess today's the day where we're banning many people. I did know the language beforehand, but that wasn't the primary reason. I felt like GDScript was more of an immature language, and I think it has been changing a lot. So I think if GDScript works for you, continue using it. It's only going to get better. And there are some other benefits right now, I'd say, like hot reloading is reliable, or at least more reliable. You can also do web exports. But yeah, welcome in. Yeah, just got type dictionaries. Yeah. The future's here, people. The future is now. All right, so here's what we've done since I think Friday morning. So it's basically been one work day. We added in the weapon grinder. We have the key storage. It only accepts keys. Keys themselves are a new item. They're not finished, which is why it says fill this in later. And you can now grind up weapons and turn them into keys. So if I drag enough of these here, we'll produce another key. Yeah, there we go. There is not the concept of treasure chests, though. So we've coded the unfun part of things. We've made the keys, but not the treasure chests. So this afternoon, we're going to start working on the treasure chests. And yeah, try to get through as many of these things as we can. I think we will make some pretty significant progress this week. And I think the strategy has been working so far to not focus on how much work there is to do and to just be taking breaks. So yeah. Finish the weapon grinder and cleaned up some of the key storage stuff. Started working on the chests themselves. All right, I technically haven't done that yet, but that'll be what we do in the afternoon. So I think it's lunchtime. Yeah, it's about noon. So I'll probably take an hour or so. I'll go get lunch. When we come back, it should just be coding. I had a pretty long intro today of like 20 minutes just talking about stuff. But I'm looking forward to this. I think seeing all this come together is interesting. And if we just had the treasure chest, they would open after whatever 10 minutes. But the key part was needed, of course. What's for lunch? I have some leftover biryani. And I bought some Costco stuff, but I think I've got to finish the leftovers first. Hey, Erasmus. So yeah, thank you all for watching. I will leave you with one last thing, which is in the today command, there's a YouTube video by Super Auto Gaming. I suggest checking this out. He recorded Skeleseller and made the video, and I like supporting the YouTubers who are supporting the game. And I said I would share it with the stream, so I just want to point that out again. But that's a nice thing to watch over lunch. Oh, also had leftover biryani. Nice. Yeah. All right. So I'm going to get going. I will see you all in about an hour. Thanks for being here. Catch you later.